All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 20 with Tannerdino, or what I just realized his actual name is Tannerdino, but we apparently everyone in the community calls him Tannerdino. But how you doing, Tannerdino?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome, good to hear. I am very excited for this one. You are like the first official like free to play guest on the Sae Bae Cast, and I'm really excited. And a lot of people are actually really excited to hear from you and about like the current state of free to play and just kind of how it's like to play exclusively on a free to play world. So
hmm
anyway, I am first of all, I have a question. So what made you decide to be like a free to play only account? Was there anything just like, I guess you can kind of go into it. What, like, how long have you been playing free to play, and what made you initially even decide to play free to play?
so I made my free to play account in like 2016, but like it was pretty much all a fluke because like I only played free to play because I didn't have enough money to go pay to play.
Oh
And
god,
then
yeah.
when I eventually did go pay to play, like I hated quests, so like I was just like stuck doing like really bad skills, and then like ended up just quitting because I hated it.
Mm.
So and then um I made my free to play Iron Man because I figured out how to make an Iron Man for the first time. And then I got invited to a free to play clan. And like, if I was never invited, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But I got
Bam.
invited to 3D5, and the community just completely shaped uh, my accounts and stuff like that. Completely motivated me. Pretty much the
Nice.
main reason is community. So,
Okay. Yeah. No, I can fully agree with that. Community kind of keeps you grounded, I guess. What? So you started off as just a main playing free to play. Did you ever get too far, or was it only until you made an Iron Man that you started actually getting like, I guess, far into the game?
it was only really once I made an Iron Man because like a lot of my reg accounts, I like a lot of like my normal accounts, my mains, like I just beg of the GE for money. Like I literally barely did anything
You sound
except
like my
for like
little brother. He would literally like whenever he's played, like he's very very casual, but whenever he plays, he goes on free to play, goes to the GE and waits for like drop parties to happen.
yeah, that's literally what I did. I waited for drop parties. I used to stay in the party room all day, just like hop through like the populated worlds.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it all started like once I made that Iron Man, like it was just so nice. Like you didn't have to worry about GP because you made it yourself, and it was I don't know, it's just really fitting.
Okay, so for those listening, you're a normal Iron Man, correct? Not an ultimate.
Yeah, Grey Helm.
Okay. Um. So just looking you up, and for those that are kind of curious as well, his name is just simply his name, RSN, Tannerdino. But looking at your account, I remember seeing you on the high scores probably, I don't know, a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years, or probably just a year and a half ago. I remember seeing you on the top scores for like Bryophyta and Obor. So is there a reason why you have 3,000 Obor KC? And actually, let me look this up. Yeah, so you're actually rank 1 in the entire game for Obor, and you are rank 5 in the entire game for Bryophyta, and rank 2 at 1251 for Bryophyta as an Iron Man. Is there a reason why those are so extremely high?
Well, I think the reason why is like I said I made my account in 2016, but like I didn't really pop off until like late 2017, and Bryophyta came out in early 2018. So like that piece of content just came out as I was going hard, and it was like the second free to play boss. So I just wanted to get rank 1 in it because it's not a lot of content in free to play, and I want to drink one, and I ended up getting like 500 KC or something by the end of the year. I forgot.
Oh
So
gosh.
I also wanted like 99s, so I got my first 99 at Moss Giants, my 99 strength, and then I went for like 99 attack, then 99 range, and that just gave me a bunch of Bryo KC. And then I wanted the highest over KC because I did so many Bryophytus, and I just got like 2K over KC, and then the boss high scores came out, and then someone. So I noticed someone passed me, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get 1,000 more, so they have no chance. And
Oh
then
gosh.
I've been killing moss giants ever since, and I actually have like 2,200 keys banked, mossy keys, so I can literally just like knock out everyone right now if I just launched it.
Wait, you have an additional 2,200 Mossy keys.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, dude. So I was curious what your so I'm just looking at your stats. 120. Well, you have over 100 mil attack. Is that mostly from Obor and Bryophyta, or
it's
not
pretty
from?
much all.
Yeah, not from the bosses themselves, but just the
Oh
grind
yeah,
takes.
just the grind. Yeah.
Jesus. And I'm kind of curious. You're only 69 defense. Is that for any particular reason?
Well, uh, like a few years back, I came up with a method called suicide body runes, which involves like using an alt to kill yourself in PvP to like respawn in Edgeville, which is pretty close to the body altar, and you regen all your run. So I basically kept my defense low so I can do that
Mm.
method of suicide body runes.
Oh wow, that's like
And
big brain.
yeah, I'm planning on training my defense once I get 99 RC. But like since all the new update stuff, I've been holding off on RC and stuff just in case.
Okay, so now I want to ask because you are kind of a big brain in the community now. In fact, you have come up with free to play metas, and like you're more like involved with like the technical side of the game. I feel like. So what kind of got you into? Well, first of all, you're in Summit, and like what made you become that kind of player? Like from starting out being just a casual searching for drop parties and chilling at the GE, and into becoming like a very competitive player for free to play, and kind of getting more into, I guess, skilling and stuff. Like what made that shift?
This is actually pretty funny. So I met Autumn Elegy has a UIM Terror Throne. He is a free to play UIM, and I met him in game, and I had always like talked to him. I was such a big noob. It's kind of embarrassing looking back at it, but uh, he was doing Erie fishing, which is 3 tick fish, 0 time cook at trout and salmon.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do Christmas events because I hated it. And the only way to 3 tick and free to play without eating is to do the Christmas event for the snow globe, which is used to 3 tick. So um, like I I didn't have a snow globe from not doing Christmas events because I hated doing events. So I was literally forced to do an eating method. So before I knew that many that and like before I knew any tick manip, I had to learn like a really hard tick manip method, and I ended up learning that. And then like I was my tick manip knowledge was so poor back then. It took me like 2 weeks to figure it out, but I eventually figured it out. And then I did a bunch of fishing, and then I started wood cutting, and then all the mechanics just started to align, and I
Yep.
just started like noticing things because I was putting so much time into clicking on trees and fishing spots. And then eventually I met B5 um, from Olympus because I joined Olympus because uh, someone told me about Olympus. I was like, oh, that's cool. I get to meet more people. So I joined Olympus. I met B5 there, and then he invited me to the summit. And then once I joined the summit, I just like went on like a spree. Just like I learned so much stuff from there. Like just so many mechanics were explained. Then from then, I just like started learning tons of stuff. Like when I first joined the summit, I already like came up with tons of different like methods and metas. But once I joined it afterwards, I just learned so much.
Oh yeah, everything starts making sense too, and why things like work. I totally
Yeah,
understand.
definitely.
So yeah, no, that's just awesome because it kind of reminds me of me. Just I think the way I learned how to tick manipulate in the first place was well, my I guess my first experience with knowing about ticks and kind of like abusing the system was one tick flicking at like Slayer. And it was because I was
Yeah.
an Iron Man initially that struggled with prayer pots like most irons did, or I don't know if they still do. Honestly, somebody was asking me a question earlier, like in game of like what they do for low level iron. I'm like, bro, I have not experienced that in so long. I am not the person to ask. Like, and I wasn't efficient either when I was like low level. So, but that was definitely the experience that really got me into learning about ticks and stuff because it was actually Foe, the streamer, that I was first watching his stream and he was trying to like one tick flick a task. This is way back. This is probably like 2016. And I was just like, how the hell like do you do this? It just looks like random clicking on your prayer orb. But yeah, that was kind of like my first introduction to it. And then like you say, it just kind of like things start making sense over time and certain methods start making sense. But okay. So I'm curious, when did you first start playing RuneScape? Was it RS2? Was it like pre-EOC or was it just old school?
That's a good question. So my older brothers, they played RuneScape, so like I'd always like watch them play when I was like really young. But when I was 8, I started playing. I made a RuneScape account when I was 8, and that was like around the time Dungeoneering came out. So, or maybe it was 7, but Dungeoneering came out. I loved Dungeoneering, and then Old School RuneScape came out shortly after, and then I was like, I didn't like it at all. But over time, like as I kept going back to RuneScape every once in a while, like I still begged for everything, but then I figured out that it was more efficient to beg on old school RuneScape since like swapping. You know how
Yeah.
the it's like 7-1 or whatever it was at
Yeah.
the time. So I went to old school RuneScape because it was better begging. It was really good.
It's just so funny that that was like your money making method. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Also used to scam people in RS3 too. I'd be like, I'd have I'd have full dragon or whatever, except for the dragon plate body, and I'd be like, "Hey, can someone give me a dragon plate body, please? I'm like 2 mil short or whatever." They just give me
Damn,
like
big brain strats. I've seen that strat, but not way back then. Damn. Oh god. Well, shit. Look how far you've progressed now. You probably look back and think it was just cute, but yeah, it's pretty crazy how you put yourself in a position and you can really learn a lot about the game and totally shift your mindset. Okay, so we do have a bunch of topics on the Twitter thread. Thank you very much, guys, for all the topics. And I'm very excited because I don't really know much about free to play and like I guess what motivates people to continue with free to play and not ever like go to members. So, and it's not to say like or I guess when you've played so much free to play, that's like basically the equivalent of de-ironing. It's like why would I switch
yeah,
over now?
definitely.
Actually, I'm curious. Do you have an account that has members? Like, do you ever play as a member ever?
I had a few accounts that remembers, but they had like I do like easy clues on them or whatever because I liked easy clues, but I didn't like doing quests, so I had to like drop a good amount of them.
So
But
you're just anti-quest to this day.
yeah, anti quest, but the Sir Pugger challenges, I had to make a few like pay to play accounts to like
Mm,
test things on them, and one of the recent ones because you know the Quest Hopper plugin,
I've
like
heard about it.
because you guys talked about it on
Yep.
the Port Kazard cast or whatever, the
Yeah.
Sae Bae Cast or that one. So I wanted to try it out, and 2 days in, I'm still doing the pay to play count right now. 2 days in, and I have like I'm pretty close to getting all the quests done. I just gotta do some.
Jesus.
I gotta
Is it
do the
really
hard.
that broken?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I'm like 130 quest points and only half of the free to play quests done. So like I still have a bunch of novice quests to do.
Yeah.
So like I'm like pretty close. Like I'm planning on getting all the quests done in like 7 days because I don't really have a main, and
Yeah.
it would be nice to have a pay to play main to like actually test everything I can. Plus, there's like discussions about pay to play items going free to play, and it would be very nice to test free to play rates for if a pay to play item was to go to free to play. So
True. True. True.
also, I made a pay to play Ironman like 6 7 months ago or whatever. I was following the guide or whatever. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, the Osiris guide.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Osiris guide. I was following it, but then like I got like a lot of quests done, but like then I had to like blackjack for Kingdom or whatever,
Yeah.
and like then I had to do birdhouse runs, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really hate dailies.
Yep.
I really don't even want to play this account anymore. So then I just stopped playing. But it was really fun, like doing like barbarian fishing and
Yeah.
3 tick iron.
Yeah, I can see that. And you're probably just more motivated on your free to play Iron Man, I can
Yeah, it's
imagine.
so far into the free to play Iron Man. It's just so much nicer just to stick with it.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like I got my old hardcore unbanned. I don't know if you've probably seen, but anyway, I tried to play on it. Somebody helped bond it up, and then I was like, I mined in the gem mine for like an hour or so, and then I was like, oh god, like I can't. I it's like kind of what you said. Like things are overwhelming. Dailies are kind of overwhelming. You don't even want to think of how long it's gonna, how many dailies, how many farm runs and shit you have to do to be efficient, and it just kind of burned me out. Just the thought of everything, where it's really not that bad when you take it step by step, but like the thought of
Yeah.
doing all this, it's just like you got to have a ton of motivation. It's got to be like your single account. It's got to be like your only account basically if you want to like really motivate yourself. But yeah. All right. I want to take a topic from Manic Marauder. He asks overall thoughts on updates to free to play. And then he continues on. What's something you would like added to free to play? What about removed? And then discuss Obor Bryophyta and the potential of an ice giant boss.
Um, I think updates are fine to free to play. I definitely prefer if, like updates didn't happen because I play this game because I enjoy it like as it is.
Yeah.
But um, like some updates are really good. Like beginner clues, those were a pretty good update. The bosses were good updates. The Ice Mountain's actually not that bad of an update. Um, but like the meta is just in a really good spot right now, in my opinion. So like one change that just like flips it on its head, like I don't want that to happen. So if updates were to come to free to play, I'd prefer for them to be like well thought out and carefully put into the game because one mess up can literally change everything.
Yep.
And an ice giant boss would be really sick, actually. Um, I waited 3 years for an ice giant boss, and like they have like hinted at an ice giant boss. Well, they hinted at below ice mountain. Like a year ago or something, then everyone thought it was going to be an ice giant boss and everyone was excited, but then it turned out to be like below ice mountain and everyone's like, what? Everything's changed, like the whole thing, it's a different game now, and we're not getting an ice giant boss at the same time. But yeah, updates are fine, but they have to be well thought out for them to be fine, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So so like ice below Ice Mountain, is that overall, I know we'll cover it a little bit more, but overall are you happy with the update? Do you think it has it ruined anything, or do you feel like it's pretty well balanced, or do you think it even needs a buff?
Well, I'm really happy that the J mods have like communicated with the free to play community. Like, believe it or not, they've asked us for like our thoughts on everything, and they actually made things a lot worse than they said, like than what the blog said. So like to be safe, I think they did this with Temporos too. Um, they made like rates like really low, and they're planning to buff it over time to
Yeah.
balancing it. Um, So like they made the rates really low. Like the rates are so low that it's not even worth to do it on a free to play Ironman. That's how low they are. And um like we're actually asking them to buff the rates a little bit so they're like a third good alternative that's AFK and it
Yeah.
could bring more people to free to play, which is always a good thing. Um so we're planning on getting like higher mining, higher fishing, higher prayer, higher whatever. And yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I felt like the overwhelming consensus was basically it needs a buff. And like I saw a Reddit post of like some guy just spam clicking the like copper spot over mining the other stuff and it was better rates. So kind of silly. Uh okay, and then he asks, is there anything you would like added to free to play and then anything you would like to have removed?
Oh, removed. I actually thought about this about that portion a lot, but what I want added is obviously an ice giant boss so I can grind it, or like I don't know, maybe I think ice giant boss is the obvious answer,
Yeah.
but something that I'd like to remove. I thought about this for a long time, and I could easily say something smart like the gem drops at Ogresses, so it just makes Ogresses a lot more balanced in free to play. But what I really want removed is there's the decorative boots at Castle Wars, and they give you an extra max hit at 99 strength with the rune skim. So like you can
Oh
hit
wow.
26s instead of 25, but you have to grind like 40 hours of Castle Wars efficiently to get it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, boosting a mini game to get a best in slot item. I could literally like, they can just remove it, honestly. Like, I don't think that's good at all.
I had no idea there was boots that actually gave a max hit. Damn.
Yeah, it took me a long time to like, because I was thinking about it for a long time, like the question, but I was like, oh, it's so obvious. Just the Castle Wars boots. I can just get rid of those.
Yeah,
They're kind of recent too.
that's strange. So, what are your thoughts on the addition? I guess it was at least a year or two ago that they made Castle Wars free to play, right? Was
Oh yeah, they made Castle Wars free to play in like 2017 or something
Oh
like
wow.
that.
Okay, damn. Time flies. What are your thoughts on that? Is that like a good thing for the game? Is it just basically not botted, but is it basically just the same thing as members where people just sit in there and do nothing for 20 minutes?
Well, usually there's just no one doing it, but um, whenever there is a game going on, people like having fun and putting things in. But usually people just
Yeah.
boost for the tickets. But the Castle Wars boots, they weren't added until earlier this year, I think, or maybe later last year, because they wanted to like extend the rewards or whatever, so
Mm,
they can have boots.
I
And
see.
they had it identical to like the metal boots. So like gilded Castle Wars boots are identical to adamant boots. So like they essentially just added adamant boots to free to play, which
Okay.
adds a max hit. So
Yeah. Just one strength, correct?
Yeah,
What?
just one
Wow.
strength bonus does it.
Wow. Okay. So that would be the thing that you would probably remove.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. Do you ever plan to grind that, by the way? Just
Uh,
because of the max hit, or are you just so salty about it you just don't even want to?
I think I will eventually because I want all the Castle Wars items on the collection log. That would be kind of nice to get. So I probably will boost it eventually, but like, man, I don't because I won't be gaining like any XP during it
Yeah.
except for like magic. But I'm already gonna gain a ton of magic XP from superheating, so it's like a whole week of just not doing anything. I don't want
Yeah.
to do that.
It kind of reminds me of the Eternal Glory grind, where it's literally just like 30 plus hours of no XP. You just uncharge glories and recharge them. It's like, God, this is just like painful, especially if you're into like XP. Obviously, that's just wasting so much time. All right. Stigali asks, how did the new methods change the meta for training? Mining, fishing, cooking, prayer, and melee stats, and thoughts on the new mace now that you have it in your hands. So I guess we kind of already sort of covered it. There's no real shift in the meta, correct?
Yeah, there's no shift at all. Well, there's a bit of an alternative for like golems are like an alternative because they give like passive RC XP, which is like really good, but they don't give any prayer and they also don't give any laws or nats. So like they automatically suck because you need laws and nats for smithing and crafting
Yep.
unless you want to get really low crafting rates. Like unless you want to like do 17k an hour crafting and like 15k an hour smithing and like compared to like 26k per hour smithing.
Yeah. What do you think of the mace? And apparently it's getting a buff. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's confirmed to get a buff. Well, it's confirmed to go to what it was intentionally like to its intentional rates or its intentional stats.
Yeah.
It was they like when it was released they just put the stats lower than they did on the blog, but they're gonna fix that.
Interesting.
Um,
Do you think that was like on purpose, or was it just a complete mistake?
in my opinion, I think they did it on purpose and they're playing it off as a mistake, kind of. But I think they did it on purpose, and it still feels like the role of being best in slot at golems, which I think that's the the thing that matters the most.
Yeah.
But it's better than Ruined Sword, um, with the proposed changes that gonna happen soon with them.
Wait, is it better than a rune simi at golems, or no?
Uh, it is better than Runescape at golems.
Okay.
Well, it's about the same, but it's like really negligible, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. That was almost done on purpose because I feel like Jagex has started to understand the OSRS community a little bit more, and one of the things that really makes like veteran players and high level players just kind of irritated is when updates come out that are just too OP. And so it's probably a good thing in their eyes when they come out with something that's just absolute shit, and then the high level players are the ones asking for the buffs. And I feel like they've been doing that recently. It's probably honestly like it's big brain honestly to do that
It's
because
really good. Yeah.
yeah, because it's it's like one of the things that veteran players never ask for is like buffed XP rates, really, like for the most part. And then you see, and then you start getting them asking for it. It's like, all right, you're getting a little taste of like, you want things to be buffed. So I think it's cool, and it's
Definitely.
it's better than the opposite, obviously.
Yeah, you hate it when something's OP on a release and it takes them a week to fix it, or
Yup,
even worse, 3 years, but
6 years, yeah,
6 years.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Okay, uh, no help asks best and worst updates to happen to free to play, and do you enjoy I mean, this has already been answered, but do you enjoy the boss updates as in Bryophyta and Obor?
I enjoy the boss updates, yes, but the worst update to come in free to play. Man, I probably should have thought of this question more. Um, there's a lot of free to play updates. The worst one. It'd be cheap to say ogresses, but the thing with ogresses being added to the game is that they're actually not that good because moss giants were buffed in the wilderness. They drop like 1 in 60 willy keys, which are like, or not willy keys, mossy keys, which are like really good for like laws and gnats when you kill the boss. So like it's actually efficient to do like 30% ogresses and like 70% moss giants when you're
Really?
maxing.
Wow.
But like removing ogresses would, I think that'd just be like a really easy answer. I think there's a better answer than removing ogresses, but or not removing, saying it's the worst update, but the worst update maybe is um honestly I'm not too sure. I really like where the game is right now. Um I guess maybe the Castle Wars thing, but like that's not really a bad update.
Yeah.
It's just
Just a
um,
personal preference. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So you feel like I'm surprised because I thought ogresses were always a big one that everyone like hated. Uh, but yeah, I've seen people kind of enjoying them, and I guess yeah, like what you said, they're not as OP as everyone kind of makes them out to be.
Mhm.
And well, that's fucking good to hear, honestly. Like it makes it sound like free to play hasn't been too, I don't know, butchered. It's like in a
Ooh,
good state.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
They made Snare and Teleblock free to play in like 2019.
Oh yeah.
They could probably like I could probably say that's a not a good update. Kind
Do
of
you
annoying.
do you ever do the telegrab gnats out in the wilderness?
Yeah, I was doing a bit of it not too long ago. Actually, I did a good amount of it for a lot of my smithing XP, but most of my smithing XP is just from killing moss giants for nature runes. I actually have like 20,000 nature runes just in mossy keys. So if I used up my
Jesus.
mossy keys, I'd have a bunch of nature runes to use up for smithing.
Yeah. So, what is it about free to play that like is it just the simplistic nature of the game that keeps you motivated, I guess? Or like are you just
There,
one of those unique players cuz I swear like I couldn't me personally I couldn't just play free to play all the time. I feel like I would just always want more.
there's a lot of reasons. So there's the community, which is the biggest reason. Then there's like small things like 99s are actually like they take time and they're actually rewarding to get. Like they're worth more. They have more value. Like
Yep.
each skill has value, and also there's no buy no not Bibles. There's no dailies. Dailies really suck in my opinion. There's also no obligation to play. You can literally play whenever you want. You don't have to pay for membership. If you buy membership, you don't have to play. Like you can literally log off and then come back and go on instantly. You don't have to buy membership again.
True.
And when you do, you don't have to keep playing. So
Is there
there's
still the daily? Sorry for interrupting. Is there still the daily where you have to buy those like chronicle
there's
teleports?
there's that, but like you barely have to do that at all unless you want to do like Chronicle Telly Earths, which are pretty decent. But you don't have to buy that for your entire account. You can just buy that all during woodcutting or something.
Mm.
So it's like barely even a daily, and you can woodcut like woodcutting's not even that far away from buying Chronicles, and you can buy Chronicle pages like every 2 days. Whenever it's whenever the like at like 23 UTC or whatever
Yeah.
23. So like you can buy two two sets every 2 days basically. So it's like a half daily at that point, but you only have to do it during certain skills, and that's
Yeah,
if you want to train RC a certain way.
true. So
And
it's nothing like the meta or anything.
yeah, and but then there's also the only like exception is like crafting because you need chronicle pages for crafting. That's if you want to do efficient crafting compared to like the alternative, which is crafting guild, which is just a lot nicer because you get crashed less and there's less world hopping. So it really depends on how you play because you can literally max super efficiently, not 100% efficient, but max pretty efficiently without buying any chronicle pages at all. So it just depends on how people value their time and what people want to do actually. But yeah, another reason I like free to play is I'm trying to think of more reasons.
I mean, okay,
Probably
so yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I probably should have written some of this down. Um, but yeah,
I'm
community is the biggest one. I think that's what matters most.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I'm kind of curious. You said like 99s are more, actual like legitimate grinds that take so much longer than it would
they're
for
like
for a
they're
member.
like pay to play 200 mils basically.
Yeah, for real. And so I'm curious, would you like to see skill capes in free to play?
Man, let me just mention that I've been crashed by so many people and like fire making skill capes and like cooking skill capes all untrimmed. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I hate getting crashed by these people. These people are complete and utter noobs. I'd never want to wear that skill cape ever. I'd never want to wear a skill cape at all because literally only noobs wear skill capes. And it's the same thing with Addy, like not Addy G, like trimmed armor. Like trimmed armor looks absolutely disgusting because the amount of people I've been crashed by with like that they're wearing like full Zammy or whatever, and they're like
Yeah.
Espanol, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. It's like don't
Oh
like
my god.
certain items just don't look good because complete noobs wear them.
Yeah. Just the
That might
association you have with it.
yeah, it might seem harsh, but like it's just the truth. Like if skill, I'm fine with skill capes coming free to play. Just I'd never wear them because they make you look like a complete noob. Like literally,
So, okay, now I'm curious. What if there was a free to play max cape that has no perks, just cosmetic?
that'd
Is
be kind of weird.
is that like, because a lot of the arguments against things like that, the cosmetics, is that it encourages. Now it's like an item people go for, and then Jagex tends to buff rates for things because players want it. But if it was absolutely no perks to it, it was just purely a cosmetic zero stats cape. Like, and it actually maybe it looked different. Maybe it was like a different color because it's free to play, so it's not all the skills. Would you like that?
Honestly, I'd rather that not be in the game because I feel like the only use of that would just to be flexing on people that aren't even a part of the community. Because if someone
Yeah.
was a part of the community, they'd know your stats and like I don't
Yeah.
know. The
It's
stats
just
speak for
weird.
themselves. So
Yeah. So what if there was a perk to it? Like,
ooh.
or are you just against the idea in general?
I've looked at the max cape perks, like the pay to play max cape. I've looked at the perks and they seem pretty like good, like
It's
good in a sense of
disgusting.
game breaking. It's like there's so much stuff. I saw someone like whip out. They got like energy from it because like the agility thing, and then
Yep.
they whipped out like a pestle and mortar from the cape. I'm like, how is that supposed to work? I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
But if a free to play skill, like a free to play Maxscape had perks, the only perk I'd allow would like probably like I don't know a Chronicle teleport or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
But like if it's like every teleport, then it's just like oh my gosh,
Oh
no,
yeah. Then you
that'd be
can't even like you basically have to go for max before anything to be like
Yeah,
efficient.
and then after your max, time to get 200 mil all without any laws or anything, and then I
Yeah.
can just kill golems because I don't need any laws or nats at all.
Yeah. Okay, so are I know you were saying like 99s or 200 mils in the main game, like that's like the equivalent. So, like, would you ever plan to go for 200 mil in free to play?
Oh, 100%. I'm actually going for 200 mil right now. I got 100 mil attack. I also have 27 mil woodcutting, and that keeps on adding up because I've been woodcutting ever since the Ice Cave blog came out in February, and I'm already pretty pretty high in woodcutting XP. So I'm going for like 200 mil attack and 200 mil woodcut sometime down the line. But like I'm also going for max, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing after all those. Maybe another 200 mil.
Yeah. So you
But
got those long-term goals. You ain't just like
yeah, I have tons of goals, but they're extremely reliant on updates that Jagex add to the game
yep.
because it's been bouncing around like crazy. Like my goal was like literally a month ago. My goal was stop everything I'm doing, go for 99 crafting, do turn Jamel attack at golems, get 99 RC with it. That was my goal, but the ice cave stuff was released in the game and it wasn't very good. So now my goal is turn Jamel attack at moss giants and then get 99 prey and then just max. But not too long ago, my goal was like wait for Ice Giant boss because I didn't know Ice Cave was gonna be whatever. Like I literally thought it was gonna be an Ice Giant boss. So
Yeah.
my goal was train 50 mil attack at Ice Giants or whatever, and then use all the keys, and then do the rest of Moss Giants or whatever. But now that's changed because I don't know if I should wait for Ice Giants now. I feel like it's all really dependent on like Jagex updates, and who knows, maybe Jagex will add like an RC minigame or whatever, like 20k per hour
Yeah.
AFK, and it's like, oh my gosh, like what do I even do? And I have a lot of plans on my account. It's so reliant on Jagex, crazy.
So you have 96 prayer on a free to play Ironman. Is that like that has to be like is there any Ironman on free to play that has 99 prayer? Like I don't I'm actually curious. Are there any maxed Ironmen that are free to play
There's
currently?
there's only one max Ironman that's free to play, Cold Fingers 3. He did his prayer at Boneyard for like 9k, 10k an hour. Um,
Jesus Christ.
which is pretty good. There's a
Yeah.
few free to play Iron Man that are really close to 99 prayer. There's like 5 Ent. He has like 97 prayer or something. And then there's UI Man Bronze. I think he's almost 99 prayer. 5 Ent has only been killing ogresses. He has like 196 mil, 195 mil like ranged XP at ogresses. So he's almost 200 mil ranged.
Holy
And he's
fuck.
he's pretty close to 99 prey just from ogresses, which is nuts. And then
And that
there's UI Man Bronze. He killed flesh crawlers with the rune skim, not rune skim, with the bronze skim until max melees.
oh
And
my god.
he's doing he's doing boneyard to 99 prey now. Like after that AFK grind, which is insane.
Jesus. Yeah, cuz that's very like you have to have focus in the boneyard, correct? To even
Yep.
get those rates and stuff. And you're in the wilderness. Well, I guess you're not really risking anything. But
Yep.
so yeah, literally all free to play prayer is just burying bones from monsters or in the boneyard, correct? Those are the only two metas.
Only methods.
They're
Well,
coming out with ashes. I know if like for the
oh
Arcanist spellbook.
yeah.
Is that coming out that is coming out to free to play, correct?
Yeah, they'll be available from like greater demons and lesser demons or something like that. And then like the demonic ashes. And you can also buy them on the GE, which doesn't affect free to play Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like I highly doubt it will, unless you can like use them on an altar or something stupid. They add like the chaos altar to free to play, but um, it's only really good for like reg accounts, like accounts that can use the GE,
Yeah.
because they can just, assuming they have the same exact mechanics as burying big bones, then it's like easily 70k an hour, which is like faster than the 43k an hour big bones for regular accounts.
So would that make like greater demons or lesser demons meta for prayer at all? Like, have you like, because we don't really, I think they have kind of released the rates that they're thinking of, but have you done any calcs on seeing if that's like efficient for prayer when it comes out?
Well, I don't. I already calced it. I forgot what the numbers were because it was actually a long time ago. They haven't released any of it yet. It was a pretty while back, but it's not even close. And even if it was close, it's like it wouldn't really be that worth because greater demons have really bad drop tables.
Yeah, true.
Their drop tables suck.
Yeah. Do you remember when greater? Okay, so I remember playing as a kid, free to play, going out way deep in the wilderness, and there was greater demons, and they were like the most terrifying fucking NPC in the game at the time. They just they were so scary, dude. Like greater demons, those were like those. Yeah, it's funny how that is now, but
Yeah,
they drop rune med helms, right? Is that the thing they drop?
rune
Or
full house.
runeful, and then the lesser drop rune meds. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
remember.
remember.
Yeah,
I remember. I used to have to mage. You used to, before Urguses existed, you had to kill them in the wilderness for your rune fall or smith it, but it's like 92 smithing or something. But people used to always go there to get a rune full helm before Urguses, and I spent so long there. Like I maged. Like this is back when I was a big noob.
yeah.
I was maging, like mages zero time, by the way. I was maging lesser demons with fire strike, and I ended up not getting it, and I just completely stopped killing greater demons. I'm like, do what? I'm just gonna wear a rune med helm. Like I don't even care. I hate greater demons. So then I went to like, I started killing hill giants, and I eventually got my rune full helm from Obor because it's actually on his drop table. I was like, hey, nice. First rune full helm ever, and I didn't even have to go to greater demons.
So what boss do you like more, Obor or Bryophyta?
Obor 100%.
Just the like the boss fight itself, not the actual grind, or everything.
Everything. Because Obor, actually, I like Moss Giants better than Hill Giants, but Obor is just so much nicer because you just one tick prayer for like the entire time, and like you just eat when you're like 40 HP or whatever.
Mm.
And Bryophyta, you gotta like use axe,
Yeah, that's so
and it,
obnoxious.
and it spawns it like 12 times. You're just like, oh my gosh. And but Obor also has a unique drop in free to play, unlike Bryophyta. So it's like I've been forced to bank my keys because I'm waiting for them to repull it. Hopefully they repull it in the next pull because it's like a PVM
Oh
quality
yeah.
of life or whatever. So that's what I'm banking on. If they don't, I'm gonna have to wait till next pull, which is who knows when that's gonna be.
So you want to send your keys, but you're just waiting basically on
Yeah,
updates.
I've been waiting for so long.
That's crazy. Yeah, how long has that been? Because 2,200 keys, like fuck.
Well, it's been probably over a year since I've been waiting, and it's I've been waiting for a long time.
I just find it so funny that you have literally 2,200 keys and you've already done over 1,200 initially, and we find it like one of the worst things ever when like Rice Cup or any of those players go like 600 dry for their little staff, and that seems like the worst grind ever, just doing 600. So like,
Yeah,
Christ, dude.
I can't believe I have more Mossy keys than like Ober KC, like Mossy keys and Brio KC than
Yeah.
Ober KC. Like Ober just felt so long because you had to kill the hill giants, and it's like one. I killed them in not in the wilderness, so
Oh
for the extra
wow.
prayer XP. So I ended up having to kill tons of hill giants compared to moss giants for my keys.
Dude, I think I'm like not even 10 Obor KC, and that has felt so painful. Literally doing 10 kills. Like, oh my god, dude.
I think I get around like probably 2 Obor keys an hour, maybe.
God. Yeah, and I'm like, think about this. I'm out in the wilderness with a crossbow, like basically one-shotting every single hill giant, like every 3 ticks, one-shotting, and it still was like the most painful grind to me. So I can't even imagine just meleeing them in with a rune sim.
And burying their
Yeah.
bones.
And that, yep. I don't even loot. Like, I'll literally get a seed, and I'm like, nah, it's not even worth me running like 4 tiles to go pick it up. I'm just gonna keep shooting. Yeah, I make that. I feel like I choose to make that grind horrible because I really want the Obor Club, and I still want to finish 600 beginners. By the way, I'm actually curious. You've completed 766 beginners. Do you plan to do more?
So the story behind that is like I did probably a couple hundred when they first came out from like goblins, and then from there on, I just like did beginner clues 100% passively. So like I'd be killing giants, and if I got like a lumberage clue or something, I'd keep it. But if it wasn't, I'd just leave it on the ground.
Yep.
So I'd only do like lumberage clues or clues really close to the teleport, and I'd do them. And if it ever turned out to be like a bad clue step at any time, I just automatically drop it. And I'd do it. I'd only do it at the end of each trip too, and each
Yeah.
trip is at least like 2 hours. So like every 2 hours, com- almost completes it. I almost completed clue, or I do complete a clue.
Yeah.
So like I completed barely any clues like per week. Probably only like 5 clues per week, but it added up a lot.
Yeah.
And I ended up completing the beginner clue log 3 times over. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Damn. So I'm curious because I think beginners are the shittiest clues. They're literally so shit. They're not even equally weighted. You probably know where it's for just to get a one step clue is only 10% of the time. Then the others are
True, yeah.
40% or 45. But what would you like? Do you even care? And what would you want to see from beginner clue like as an update? Like do you want because me personally, fuck Charlie the Tramp. I just want him to not even be a step, or if he is a step, be very rare, like a lot more rare than he is. Because I swear you'll get like 3 Charlie the Tramp steps if you get it on your first step. It's like the next 2 are Charlie the Tramp. It's so obnoxious. But like, do you have any ideas of what you would like, or are they fine right now currently?
Uh, I think they're relatively okay. Like I hate the Charlie the Clue steps and stuff, but
Yeah.
I just drop them. Like I hate it so much I just drop it. I'd rather just not do the clue at all.
Yep.
But it's I think they're fine. I like the uniques. The uniques are really good. Um, maybe adding like talismans, like replace all the leather items and just replace it with talismans, and that would be pretty good because passive, very extremely passive, like RC XP for Ironman, and it also puts talismans into the game, which is good for like normie accounts, free to
True.
play normies. So
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I guess talismans are pretty nice for free to play. Yeah, okay. I see that. I really want honestly, I feel like the biggest thing they could do to beginners is just make them so every step is equally weighted. Make everything
yeah,
33%.
I agree.
That it's just so stupid that they even had to arbitrarily make it so one steps are just so much more rare. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. DBV Orange says Tannerdino is a spreadsheet factory. Man knows every single free to play skilling option for Iron Man and UIM left, right, and center. It will be a great episode. Thoughts on Bryo's unique being a pay to play drop? I literally see no reason having it to be attached, or I literally see no reason in it having to be attached to a battle staff of 8K GP. Aren't battle staves not even free to play?
They're not free to play, but normal staves are. So those could be added. They can make it so you just had to add it to normal staff. So that's what I think, honestly.
So you are also in agreement that that should have just kind of like always been the case. That
I think they should have. I'm honestly, I don't care what unique it is. I just want a unique. It can literally just be the essence without the staff. But if they were going to add the staff, I calculated it would only save like 150 hours to max or something, and maxing is like 8k hours,
yeah.
and so it'll change the meta, but like not by that much really. And that's if you're superheating. Like a lot of people don't superheat in the first place because they just want to do rings of foraging because that's easier and it's more AFK. But yeah, I do have a lot of spreadsheets. I have a spreadsheet for pretty much everything in the game. Like I had to end up cleaning up my spreadsheets because a lot of them stopped working because I had too many like imports from like websites and stuff. So
So that's kind of funny because like Excel, it's funny because like I would take classes where I'm learning Excel like in real life, and it's just never been something I've wanted to do. But when it comes to RS, I'm actually so intrigued to like make my own spreadsheets and shit with
it's
things I'm
so much
actually
fun.
passionate about.
I actually made a spreadsheet today. It was for my I have a free to play normie account that I play on the side, and I made a GP needed to 200 mil all for like depending on your account and depending on inputs. So like I have it all like calculated. So like I need like 22 build to get 200 mil all or something. So
Jesus.
I really enjoy making spreadsheets. I've made spreadsheets across the board for everything, literally everything.
Yeah, no, and I bet it's a ton of fun because it's something you're actually passionate about, not just pulling out information, just classes where they like tell you to make a spreadsheet about something you literally couldn't care less about.
Yep.
Yeah. He also says in his next tweet, also want to quickly give my comment on how much I love the free to play experience. Although the grinds can be monotonous, it's truly one of the places where the old school RS play style is preserved. All skills are trained the way they were intended. No bloated drop tables to bank XP. I guess it is kind of cool that like skilling is actually worth it. Like, you know, like if you wanted a U log, you would go chop a U tree. It's not like, oh, you got to go kill this boss or something for that. Most of the time, the resources you need are the best place to get the resources you need are from the actual source, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
I guess what are your thoughts to that? I know you don't play like a member really. Uh,
Yeah.
like, what are your thoughts on like having bloated drop tables?
Um, I think if they're not the meta, I think it's like kind of cool. Like, say they added like an ice giant boss and it had like a chance to drop like 50 U logs or something. You know, it would be some nice passive fire making XP. But like the thing is, you know, if it's not it's not going to be the meta because
Yep.
you can just woodcut willows and then fire make it or just not fire make because you'll have to fire make eventually with the willows you chop, and you have to chop willows anyways.
Yeah.
But it would be really hard for them to like make drop tables like loaded and free to play if they wanted to have reasonable updates. Of course, they could just like add like a million U logs to a drop table or whatever, but that's not realistic at all.
Yeah.
But I really like how you just if you want something, you had to go to the source, like you said earlier. I really like how it pans out, and also like it's a lot more simple, which is why I like it a lot more. So like you can literally, if you want to train RC, you just mine essence and go to the altar.
Yep.
Or if you want to if you want to train prayer, you just bury bones. Like there's no extra steps. It's simple, and yeah, it's old school. So
Have you ever been intrigued to play a UIM free to play?
oh, a UIM free to play. Actually, I made it free to play UIM because I wanted to test um early game metas because I wanted to like figure out like optimal early game stuff. But UAM's good. I think free to play UAM is just a slightly different play style. The time to max is virtually the same according to the HP rates,
Yeah.
but if you wanted to be like ultra efficient and like 200 IQ methods, then Greyhound's faster than UIM. But UIM, it's about the same. It's you kill ogresses and then you kill moss giants, and then you use like laws and nature runes for smithing and crafting, and then you know it's about the same. But there's some small nuances to like bank bankman mode that you can uh, that makes it just a little bit faster. But like generally, it's not efficient to bank at all. Like it's just a complete waste of time to run to the bank because you can literally
So
just
funny.
not go to the bank.
So, but I bet your bank is loaded. I don't know if you bank all your stuff or you just tend to be efficient where you don't use it. But how much is your bank worth? Curious.
I have a lot of stuff in my bank actually. I love banking things. I don't mind being inefficient to bank stuff.
Yeah.
So my bank is usually like 145 mil and GE value. That's not including the Mossy keys that if I use those up, I'll get
Yeah.
like a bunch of GP. But right now it's like 138. That's because things fluctuate.
Yeah.
I have like tons of stuff. I have been banking my Willow logs. I have like 270k Willow logs banked. It's pretty good.
Jesus.
Uh,
Oh my God.
I also have like tons of runes from killing monsters. I love banking things. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do. I have all my Obor and Bryophyta drops banked. So like 99% of them. So
Yeah.
it's
Besides the stuff you've already consumed, like
yeah.
runes and stuff.
So yeah, banking is awesome. Oh, I also have 31,000 Limpert roots from
Damn.
banking them from Hill Giants. And they're like a 1 in 16. So like if you do the math, it's like that's it's a 1 in 11.66, I think. So it's like that's easily what like 320,000 Hill Giants in Limpert roots that
Is
I've
that
banked.
is that all like is that assuming you pick up every single limport? And do you
Yeah.
pick up every single limport?
I don't even know. I used to I think I used to not pick them up, but then I started doing it once I think after like 500 Ober KC I started picking them up.
Yeah.
But
Damn. So
I've been I've been picking up my body talismans from Hill Giants. I have like 4.6k and those are like a 1 in 64 at Hill Giants. Pretty good.
so you can't make potions in free to play, but I know there's the apothecary where you can like convert limports correctly into like strength pots or energy pots or something like that.
Um
Is that
yeah,
true?
you can like just talk to them and they added energy pots in like 2016 or something and strength pots have always been there. So strength pots are actually the meta for Ironman. You had to make strength pots for combats, which is part of the reasons why golems are not the meta because you can't really get strength pots at them unless they're like ranging ogresses. But
Mm.
even if you do, you won't get enough strength pots, and strength pots are the reason why melees are the way they are. And
How much or what is the ingredient to get an energy pot? And are those like ever worth it to have?
um energy pots, there it takes like chocolate dust and limpert roots.
Okay.
So like to get chocolate dust, the best way to get chocolates is from the sandwich lady random event or like the food store at Port Sam. So like and you have to like use a knife on them. So it takes forever to get chocolate dust, and it's not worthwhile at all.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
40 run energy is just going to deplete instantly.
Yeah.
Um, but energy pots are really good if you're like doing like deep wildy stuff or something, and you want to escape
Yeah.
or whatever.
I just think it would be really cool because you're like really into banking. Just flex a stack of like 30,000 energy pots on your Iron Man. Just do that grind just for fun. Just
I've been thinking of doing a 6 hour of making body tiaras on my Iron Man, like a completely unbeatable record unless someone kills like 400,000 hill giants and banks all the thousands. I was really thinking about it, but I don't know if I'll do that. Maybe in the future.
yeah. Well, that's cool. So, um, you're pretty young. What are you like 21, 22?
I turned 18 a few weeks ago.
Oh wow, you're really young. I was thinking you were born in like 2000 or something. So you're like, so I'm curious honestly because like my little brother, he's 20, like he just turned 20, and like he played the game kind of probably similar to you, where like he played because of his older brothers, and like he was like literally, I'm pretty sure he was literally 3 years old or two when he first started playing, and but like what it's just weird to me to see players that are so young playing this game. But do you feel like you're unique that you don't play like I know this is just weird and kind of almost an ignorant question, but do you feel like you're different than the majority of people that are your age where they all like play Fortnite and stuff? Because most of the player base, and you've seen it, are like in their mid 20s.
Um, I think I definitely am unique, like because a lot of the people my age, like I like to call them serial gamers because they play like the popular game or whatever, and they don't actually have like a community to look forward to. The only other people that I can sort of relate to are like speedrunners, but like there's actually a lot of speedrunners or like kids my age that are into speedrunning. And speedrunning is sort of similar to old school because like there's a lot of grinding and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's like the only similarity I can see, but there's virtually no one my age that plays old school except for like the small handful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people my age have heard of old school though, but they just don't like it. That's just the fact of the matter. They just don't like the game.
Yeah, it's strange, and I'm almost kind of worried that the player base is like so it's just like very narrow. It's basically like 20 to 30 year olds at this point. That's what it feels
Yep.
like. But like that's gonna keep increasing, and there's very few like new. Well, at least in my eyes, it looks like there's very few young players that are playing old school. I wonder if that'll have an effect in like 5 years to a decade from now of like every single player is now like 30 to 40 and there's no new like players. Like this game's eventually just inevitably everyone's just gonna die and it's just like we're getting too old. But do you feel like there are new players, like young players that are playing, or do you kind of feel the same way as me where it's like there is no real,
I
I guess, new
think
players?
I think Jagex is sort of doomed, but who knows?
I think
Really,
it's
who knows?
almost a good. It's like selfish. It's like selfish that they're doomed, but at the same time, I like it that they're not trying to super appeal to like the Fortnite generation.
Like in order to appeal to those people, they'd have to like add like a floss dance in game, and then have like um they'd have to like increase XP rates and make everything AFK. Just
Yeah,
like like people my age don't even like RS3. So like
yeah,
if they try to make it like RS3, it's not really going to do any good. They'll have to like think of something, but I think it's actually sort of fine. I mean, sure we'll all die eventually, but
yeah.
like I
Uh,
don't know,
a
50
game,
years is a long time,
yeah,
so
a game lasting even more than 20 years at this point is pretty damn impressive.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I guess they don't have any. It's not too bad. I'm gonna take a quick pee break, and I'll be back in about a minute. One
All
sec.
right.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay. Let's move on to Caveman Only's question. And he asks, if you were a member this whole time, approximately how much construction XP would you theoretically have banked in long and curved bones with the metric fuck ton of giants you've killed?
Well, I've killed at least 600k giants in total. Uh, my per XP divided by 15 is 660,000. So, assuming I killed around 650k, uh, honestly, I have no idea how much construction XP. I should have calculated this, but uh, a lot.
Somebody will do it in the comments. They'll calc it.
Six 650k giants. So
Yeah. A curve bones, 1 in 5. I don't even know the XP you get from them anyway, so I can't figure it out right now. Somebody in the comments, whoever figures it out, I'll pin it to the comment section. But yeah, I can imagine a metric fuck ton. Dude, I'm actually very curious now. I wonder if you'll even would have gotten close to like, I don't know, 90, 99 maybe. Or I don't think you would have gotten close to 99, but probably pretty damn high up there because they buff the XP pretty significantly.
you also get it from the bosses too. So whoever's calcing it, make sure you include the bosses.
Oh yeah, true, 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 true. Keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, is it an increased rate or is it not? It's probably the same rate, I think.
I think the same rate.
Yeah.
Check.
So
Yeah, it's
just
the same rate.
okay. So just an additional like 6,000 or so. Interesting. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a fuck ton of XP. Something sort of relating to that kind of banked XP you can get from curved and long bones is they have these like perfect snail shells and like members, and you get them from like temple trekking, and you can get it from like this tortoises in the gnome stronghold. But there's these like little shells you can get from killing those things that bank crafting XP. You get like 600 crafting XP from them when you turn them into that dude, and he
Hmm.
just yoinks them from your bank. So like
Oh,
theoretically, you could just have this huge crafting XP drop, and just get a fuck ton of crafting XP. But I've always kind of found those. I kind of want more of those types of things in game. Like imagine this. Imagine as a unique drop from Bryophyta, because I know you've been wanting that. Just some unique. Imagine it was like a Bryophyta kind of like tome almost, where it's like an XP tome similar to that, but it's just an item that kind of gives a little boost of XP. Maybe it can be like I don't know. It's some item, and then eventually you can go to an NPC and you can cash it in for XP. What would you feel about that if there was something like a prayer tome almost, and that's like the unique you get where you could just stack it up endlessly?
That'd be kind of sick, honestly, because there's sort of things like that in free to play already, like bars, but you don't turn them in. And there's really nothing that you can turn in and just everything in your like all of it in your bank just automatically does whatever. But I think it would be interesting having a first like that. I mean, obviously, if it's like completely broken, I wouldn't want it in the game.
Yeah,
But
it would.
if it's like some side thing,
Yeah, it's
that's
just a
kind of
perk
cool.
almost. It wouldn't be like meta. Like I really wish those perfect shells gave a little bit more XP. I know 600 already sounds like a lot just to get one thing and just get 600 free XP, but they're so rare. They're like one in like 100 or like 1 in 50 to 1 in 100. I can't remember the rate, but it would just be so cool to get something like that where you feel like, oh, like this is like a nice drop actually, and it'll just pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like how that was ever even a thing. I remember doing temple trekking years ago for the first time and seeing this. I got a perfect shell. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then yeah, you just store them up, and you just get a huge load of XP eventually. Um, all right. Got to give a shout out to Jazz Creep. Very random question, but she asks, breakfast at 4 a.m. in your underwear, thoughts? She might have been drunk asking this, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I think that was mentioned on your stream. There's something about breakfast at 4 a.m. in your underwear.
Yeah.
And personally, I've never really been in that situation because the only time I'm in my underwear is when I'm about to take a shower or something. So, like, I don't like
Wait, you don't like
being,
walking around in your underwear?
I don't like walking. I just wear pajamas. So,
Yeah. Now I'll usually wear like maybe sweatpants with
anything
underwear, but
comfortable,
yeah,
like pure underwear, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's just,
you're
I almost,
exposed.
you get exposed. Yeah. But it's also almost sweatier. Like, I don't
Oh
know. Like,
yeah, if you're sitting on a chair or
yeah,
something.
if you're sitting on a chair, it just makes you more sweaty. It's so annoying. I
Yeah,
don't like being sweaty.
yeah. If I'm like up in the morning or something, I'll literally just basically because I sleep in my underwear, and so I'll just wake up and I'll just be like, I'm not
I
putting
used to
anything on,
I used to sleep in my underwear, but now I've been sleeping with just clothes on.
like
Part,
pajamas.
yeah, pajamas. Because I've almost never wear normal clothes now because I've been doing like online school and stuff.
Yeah,
So like I haven't been going out with the virus and stuff. I haven't been
yeah.
going out with that. So like I've been wearing pajamas for like literally a year straight. So
It's
super
funny.
nice.
Like I like just bought new clothes, and they arrived yesterday, but like so I haven't really worn them in public yet, but. It is funny though because I haven't bought clothes in probably like 6 years, and all the clothes I have are just very sort of comfy clothes where it's like not really stuff you go out in public with, like just
Yeah.
sweatpants and like these like off-brand Under Armour shirts and stuff. But it is funny that like so many people have just been homebound for so long. It's like yeah, we're just used to just wearing comfortable clothes. I can't wear pajamas in bed because
They like roll up on you.
yeah, I
Like
can't even wear undershirts to bed. I just got to be like just in underwear, like not like just like the underwear briefs, not like not any sort of shirt because I feel like they get tangled up. Like it like
yeah, like
constricts me.
yeah. Whenever I go to sleep, they like roll up sometimes. So like half of my feet are not pajamaed. So like they they're basically exposed under the
Yeah,
blanket, and then it's just like kind of uncomfortable. But usually I just like fix that, and then I go back to sleep, and then I wake up with the pajamas messed up again. But
do you
I
wear socks?
no, I don't wear
Okay,
socks. I
thank
can't wear
God,
socks. I can't wear socks.
thank God.
I haven't worn socks in so long, but
Wait, you don't wear socks even in like even when you're not asleep, or you're just saying when you're asleep?
when I'm not asleep, I don't wear socks. I don't need to.
Really, I need to wear socks when I'm awake. That is like another thing where you were saying like where you almost feel sweaty without like that. That's how I feel. Like I need socks on.
Actually, now that you mention it, my feet are kind of sweaty. I didn't notice that.
It's like weird because you feel like they'd be less sweaty, but like they just get I don't know.
It's 100% when I'm wearing like if I'm not wearing a shirt, I have to wear a shirt. If I'm not wearing a shirt, I'm just more sweaty for some reason.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like yeah, I can't not if I'm sitting down or something, I gotta put a shirt on. But if I'm just walking around when I just woke up, I'm fine. Um, but yeah, you never woken up at 4 a.m. and just cooked yourself some eggs because you're just super hungry. Just don't do that.
Well, I have whenever my sleep schedule is like flipped upside down and completely messed up. Yeah, I mean, I wake up like really early and then make like an egg sandwich or something because egg sandwiches are really good.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, sure, but I don't like walking around in my underwear. Plus, there's people that live in my house since I'm still like 18. I'm still in high school.
Yeah.
So like I'm still living with my parents and I don't want to walk around in my underwear.
Dude,
And half
I
half my underwear has like holes in it too cuz
yeah. You're just old. Yeah. I feel like I actually walked around more in my underwear when I lived at home. Just like
I
literally.
used to. I used to when I was little. I'd bring my blanket around too. Like
Yeah.
when I was like 8. It would like and I'd leave it on the floor and then it would get cold and it would be nice, but it would also get dirty, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm an underwear guy. Just walk around in my underwear. Okay. Yoda's Yoda. Shout out Yoda's Yoda. He is rank 1 collection log Iron Man, by the way. But
yo.
he asks favorite skilling method and then anything P to play or pay to play folks could learn from the free to play community or your grinds in free to play and thoughts on LMS rewards being discontinued.
Um favorite skilling method. It has to be double snow wood cutting, which is basically having two snows in the ground. Like any form of that is just automatically really good because it involves like little to no timing and it's like wood cutting mechanics are like so good. They're so lenient compared to like mining and fishing. Like you can literally click on like the very last tick that your tick cycle ends and you get a log. So like wood cutting is really nice.
Yeah.
But anything pay to play folks can learn. Um Probably one of the recent discoveries, the double hopping or using two clients to hop quicker.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
I want to kind of talk about that. So I saw and I'll have your YouTube linked in the description for those curious, but you had a silver. You know what? I'm literally just gonna pull this up. I don't really ever do this on a cast just because it's too much effort, but I want to show people this video of what you're talking about with the double hop method. So I want to show let's show the crafting one. So this is what you're talking about. So can you explain what this double hop method is and how you would like achieve it? So you have
So
two clients. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, you have like two clients, and you basically like completely get rid of the time it takes to like actually hop. So like you log on your second client, like usually like a few seconds before you actually want to hop. So like say you want to hop in like 7 seconds, you just log on and then quickly log out and your alt or not your alt, your main,
Yeah.
your first client. It's kind of weird because you're playing the same account on two clients. It's so weird. But uh yeah, you're basically hopping. You're starting a hop when you're still in game, basically. That's what it basically is. So if you're logging on your alt, you're basically hopping at that point. But you you can still move around and you have 6 seconds or so to log out after that, or else it says, oh, you're already logged in. So it's basically hopping, but you can do whatever you want for a small amount of time. You can also use 3 clients, so you can like hop like really really fast. So you can like, and then yeah, it's you
So,
can do so much with it.
do you find it tedious, or do you actually find it a cool mechanic that is enjoyable?
I really enjoy it actually. It's like it's it rewards you, and it's also harder. So it's basically like it has like the same thing as like tick manipulation, like, and plus like almost every trip is different because like you're never gonna have the same trip, um, the same lap of like
Yeah,
sober, because every once in a while you log in faster than normal, and every once in a while you log in slower than normal. And then there's also like, oh, there's a 4% chance to not mine the silver. So then you have to sort of react to things. And oh, there's a crasher, and crashers aren't fun, but oh, instantly hop to a certain world like as soon as possible to like go around the crasher basically and almost lose no time at all. So like
crazy.
there's so many things, and like, oh, the best part is whenever like someone's trying to like out hop you, like they hop, you see them hop, and then you mine less silver, and then you hop, you do the really fast hop, and then you're like you're mining the silver, and you're on the last silver, and then you see them first hop in, and then like,
Like,
and
sit
then
the fuck down. Yeah.
yeah, it's just literally you can't. The only way for them to crash you is like if they like mine when you're at the furnace, which is only like a 1 minute window. So
Yeah.
like my favorite part is literally you can just destroy anyone, literally everyone, which is nice.
Yeah. You just got like, it's like hacks almost. It's like when
Yep.
that method in like when you go to Piro Piro as like a main and you're hunting eclectics, you can do that little like POH stall thing where you can catch the eclectic the tick it spawns instead of waiting one tick.
Mm.
And it's basically like hacks. It's basically like if there's any like it's just funny because you'll see like a Venezuelan there just catching their implings and stuff, and then they'll like you'll literally just go over to them and crash them, and then they cannot compete. There is no way they can catch it because you're using the like on the tick catch basically, and there's no way they can
So
compete, and
nice.
they get so pissed off. So I
It's the
could,
best feeling ever.
I know it's so OP. That's
It's
awesome
like
though.
it gives you extra XP. It gets rid of crashers. It's fun. You know, it's too many positives.
Yeah,
Too
very
good.
engaging. It's definitely a lot more click intensive, but I can see that being a good thing. Is there anything in? I just have my own question. Is there anything that's pay to play currently that you would like to see? And I guess one of those examples I'm thinking of is like agility turning into free to play and stuff like that. Is there anything you would like to see come from pay to play into free to play?
Man, like any sort of 3 tick item would be nice because that just open up like 5 new methods instantly. Like if they added a 3 tick item that you can, because there's already 3 tick items for free to play, but like there's always a catch to it. Like for snow, you can't move in the same tick that you start the 3 tick cycle, so it's like kind of useless at like mining and
All right.
stuff like that.
Listen, I just thought of something. Would you be a fan of purple sweets coming from beginner clues and being introduced into free to play?
Oh, that would be really interesting.
Stackable food.
It'd look
Obviously
really good
you
at the bank.
yeah, like you couldn't obviously it wouldn't ever be that efficient because you'd have to do beginner clues for it, but it's like something that rewards doing beginner clues and you can just stack up sweets over time and use them. Obviously it's very hard to just it's hard to just use those, consume those for three ticking and stuff. But I guess you could have some sort of use out of it. But what do you think about that?
That would be really, really interesting. That would be pretty good for. That'd be like a really, really passive thing that's good for UIMs and also for regs. That'd be really good for regs, but it would also make like, or for normies, it would also make like gathering a lot more expensive if you wanted to do sweets, because sweets are really good with like 3-tick mining, because you can literally just eat and then like bury bones like whilst mining to make prayer 0 time. So like sweets would just open up so much possibility with like 0 time stuff for normies, for free to play normies. And there's a lot of interesting things that can come out of it. And obviously sweets will probably go down a little bit if they were introduced in in like beginner clues, but
I wouldn't even argue they'd go down because you'd
people would buy them more in
yeah,
free to play.
they'd buy them more and they'd be scaled so you don't get quite as much. Like, because currently for masters, you could get like 50 sweets from a master, but with easies, you get about, I think it's like 3 to like 8 or something, or maybe like 3 to like 11. So I think beginners would be about 2 to 5 when you roll it or something.
Yeah.
Something like
It would
low.
definitely look really cool in the bank. I'd love to have sweets in my bank.
Oh, yeah. And it would encourage you to actually do beginner clues. It wouldn't just be
Yeah.
like, all right, this is useless at this point. Like talismans and purple sweets. Imagine that, man.
Yeah, the beginner clue updates that we need.
Okay. The other question I have is, I know we didn't really like fully cover the last one, but what if, okay, so but you said like a 3-tick item would be cool. So just what are you thinking? Like a knife and a log, just basically, but a way to like a new log or something where you can just create
And
a 3-tick action without a menu or what?
yeah, something like that would be pretty cool because it would open up like things like uh, 2.5 tick mining is a lot easier and free to play, and then there's uh, 2.5 tick wood cutting is actually viable in free to play because you can just have an alt splashing on you for like wood cutting. So it's a 5 tick auto retaliate and a 3 tick item. You don't need um, you don't need any you don't need to be on a PvP world. Actually, no, you do need to be on a PvP world. The catch is you can't use snow on a PvP world. So like in order to do PvP world methods for 3-ticking, you need to eat something, which is the
Mm,
only other way to 3-tick. So like if there's an actual 3-tick item, they'll allow for PvP world skilling, which is good for 2.5-tick methods. And it also opens up like 1.5-tick essence
yep.
for rune crafting, which just makes it so you can put more skill into it.
Yep.
You can put more effort into it for extra XP, which is always good, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. When it's balanced, and that is balanced.
Yeah, and there's also stuff like uh you like during like 3-tick fish 0 time cooking, you like there's it's not a guarantee that you get a fish every time, and the only way to 3-tick during that method is eating. So when you run out of fish to eat, you're forced to 4-tick fish 0 time cook with leather. And if they added a 3-tick item, it would make it so you can 3-tick when you're out of fish to eat, which is very nice because I actually tested that in pay to play, uh, doing 3-tick fish 0 time cook with a 3-tick item whenever I was out of fish to eat. It was so much more engaging. It was so much nicer. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. 3-tick item would do more good than harm in free to play, but it really depends on like how it's implemented. Because if they were to add like free to play fletching, I would not allow that. I hate fletching. Fletching sucks. It would ruin wood cutting too. So
Yeah. Okay, so the other kind of question I had was, what would you think of a boss that came out that was actually pretty challenging in free to play? Like a boss
ooh,
that came out, like let's just say Ice Giant does come out, but it's not like Bryophyta and Obor where it's just do it. It actually has skill to it and potentially like prayer switching and stuff like that, and very punishing mechanics.
oh geez, I'd have to learn all that because I don't have all of that stuff learned because I've never done pay to play PVM
Yeah, I mean
really.
it would be pretty simple, but it's the fact that you're using free to play stuff that would make it tough. So
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is a semi longer fight, maybe like 3 minute fight or something of, you using prayer and stuff, and like maybe even tick eating or something where it's like, this is actual skill. It's not like terribly tough, and it's not like a just outlast or anything, but it's just something where you really have to kind of like understand ticks, sort of. Like, would
It
you
could
like
be
that?
like a mid-level pay to play boss or whatever, but
Exactly,
free
yeah.
to play has access to it, and it's just harder for them to do it because they're a lot more restricted.
Yeah. Like, what would you
Uh,
think about that? Something that's actually relatively tough.
I really like challenges. It's I think it just makes content more interesting and more fun to do over time. And if it's rewarding, it's just a lot more fun in my opinion. But obviously I don't want it to be too overpowered. Um,
Yeah.
but if it's well balanced and like it's worth the effort and it actually is challenging, then I love it, honestly.
What if there was I'm kind of against this in general. I'm actually kind of against content being in the wilderness. As it's cool to have content in the wilderness, but at the same time, when it becomes like meta and stuff, and it forces you to go out there. But I'm curious, what if there was a free to play wilderness boss that like what are your thoughts on that? No, yes.
Uh I'm pretty like I'm not entirely sure on this one because like I don't like PKers. I mean
Yep.
unless they're actually fighting other PKers,
Yeah.
like the people that just like PK noobs that barely know how to click on the games, just like so it's like oh my
Cringe.
gosh, like
Yeah.
why, like they're just trying to play the game or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's like like a paid like a wilderness boss would just be, I mean sure it'd be kind of cool, but like
Would be busted because they'd say high risk, high reward.
oh my
It becomes
gosh,
the meta. You just have to fucking deal with
you're
being in
so
the
obligated to play it, and then it's
yeah.
just like you just get ragged the entire time, and you just don't like the content too, and
It
it's
just becomes total free to play meta for every resource because it's high risk, high reward. You just fucking hate your
oh my
life.
gosh, that would literally ruin so much.
Oh yeah.
But on the other side, if it's like well balanced and becomes dead after 2 weeks because PvP is dead, then it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I just think of new little ideas that could be fun for free to play, but then again, I want to get a free to play like veterans opinion on stuff. It's not
Yeah,
like it really matters to me either way because I'm not going to play free to play.
usually the mindset that I have is like updates are way too risky to get put into the game because it can literally just ruin the game in one update in free to
Yep.
play because it's so fragile.
Yep.
But on the other side, uh, Jagex recently they've been really good at communicating to everyone, like you said earlier, and it's like it's honestly giving me hope that they're like working towards like well balanced things. And there's, in my opinion, there's literally always a middle ground. There's always a solution to everything. So there's always a best decision. So
Yeah.
I think easily updates can be added to the game that is actually good for the game. But at the same time, if in order for updates to be added to the game, I really want them to be careful about it because one wrong update can just like
They're
one
never removed. Yeah, an update that's too broken, they don't remove updates. So you got to be
it's
really
like
careful.
they don't want to like they don't want to admit the mistake or something, or they're just
Yeah.
too lazy, and then it's just like oh my gosh,
Or
just
they don't see it as a big deal.
yeah. Or like Reddit steps in and
Yep.
says that they really enjoyed the content even though they did it for like 2 minutes because they hardly play the game, and it's just like oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm completely with you though. I think the J mods are doing an absolutely incredible job.
Yep.
for, they can never be perfect because everyone has differing opinions on what should be in the game. But in my eyes, they are doing an absolutely fantastic job.
Yep, I agree.
Um, I'm curious because it doesn't really seem to be that big of an issue, and obviously the free to play community's a lot smaller. But what are your thoughts on alts for Iron Man on free to play? Because it's just interesting because there are so many methods that require alts, like in both game modes, and that can be more efficient and probably a lot more fun and engaging. But like, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, there's not like things that like Corp or something where you just genuinely speed up kills by like 3 times and stuff. But what are your opinions on integrity, at least for free to play irons?
In my opinion, I'm fine with alt methods as fun as like um as long as it's high effort, high reward. But if it's like an alt method that's easier and faster, then I clearly shouldn't be in the game. Um, but like I don't mind Iron Man integrity or whatever. I don't really mind what how other people train their accounts, but like if there's something in the game that's just like easier to do with alts and it's faster, then it's kind of not good at all. It makes people that play the game more legitimately, just it makes them disadvantaged,
Yeah.
and it's kind of bad. It's just bad game wise too.
So theoretically, again, I do not play free to play. This is just me coming out with a question. But theoretically, if they said alting is now banned for all Iron Men on both game modes, like free to play and pay to play, would you be okay with that, even though it puts, high effort, high reward at a disadvantage? Like, again, I personally don't think this would ever even come into the game because nobody really cares that much about. I know it sounds like bad, but there's not enough players in like free to play to like really. I don't feel like that would ever even be an update. But what would you think about that if that actually came out where free to play irons can't use alt methods anymore, or else they're breaking the rules?
Um, well, there's a good amount of alt methods. Like there's the suicide bodies that I mentioned earlier in the cast. There's also like using alts to get rid of crashers. There's what else? You can restock shops with an alt, which there's some shops in free to play that are good. Um, there's a good amount of
Like the
alt
Willows, like
methods.
2.6.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like auto retaliation with alts and stuff.
Yeah.
All are pretty much high effort,
Yeah,
but
that's
I'd be kind of sad, like honestly, because I enjoy doing alt methods.
mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy suicide body runes, like because for suicide body runes, you have to attack yourself on the way to the altar, and then that's usually with 1 or 2 alts, and then you have to kill yourself when you're in the altar after you make the runes. And then there's also another alt because there's gravestones that you can use. You can have a gravestone in the altar. And you can like transfer items to that gravestone, so you can like transfer an inventory of S to there, so you can like kill yourself with another alt to transfer an S every 2 trips or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's a lot of effort.
Yeah. No, and
So
it's fun to optimize methods that are just so random. I completely
yeah,
agree.
it's so much. It's a lot of fun. Like I don't know. It's even if they did make it bannable, like honestly, I'd probably still do the methods because I don't think Jagex would care about free to play.
Nobody would ever even like know you're even alting hardly, but yeah.
Yeah,
Because
like oh, I'm just getting attacked.
yeah,
I'm not doing anything
this
wrong.
isn't me. Yeah. No. It's just, well, first of all, it's impossible to like really get rid of all alting because, for example, it's an MMORPG at the end of the day, so it's like there's always ways to get around it. And for example, in members, you can hold the crafting guild Tanner, and it significantly just makes tanning hides better, like way faster. And
Saves
that's
ticks, makes
yeah,
it consistent.
yeah, it's just so easy, and it's just simply having an alt there talking to the guy. That's it. And so there's always things like that where alting, just using another player for most things is more efficient, and there's no real way to get rid of it all. But there are completely busted things like Corp where you just genuinely don't put in any effort on your actual account. You just do the whole entire spec and down system or thing on a different account, and then you just reap the reward.
Yeah,
Uh,
things like that I don't think should be in the game. It's just not good at all.
yeah, I'm just curious because Mod Arcane has been making some updates. Nightmare was just alting for Nightmare was nerfed, and that was just it was that should have happened because the scaling in general was just bad. It wasn't even like it was anything to do with alts. It was just the actual system, the way drops work at Nightmare was messed up. But now Slayer alting has been nerfed as well in members. Um, and I don't know if that's kind of like the end of it, if that's kind of like their drawing point. But yeah, I know you don't play a member, so it's not as relevant to ask. But what are your thoughts on like that being nerfed and stuff?
Um, I think it's a pretty good decision, honestly. Because like even if it's been in the game for a while, there's always it's. I think it's always good like now than never. So,
Yeah,
but
I just get I get the argument and I completely understand it where it's like it is probably more enjoyable to get double XP basically and have a more engaging method where you're using an alt. And
yeah,
so I understand where people get salty at it and stuff, and it has been out for so long, and so some people also see the argument like, other people benefited from this. Why can't I? So,
as long as they don't ban people,
oh
I don't
yeah,
think
no,
people should be banned.
the banning people, well, retroactively, that's just dumb because it wasn't really against the rules.
Unless it's
Per
like
se.
pure bug abuse, they're like duplicating things in their Iron Man or something weird. But
Yeah,
alting is fine in my opinion.
yeah, I'd be curious. Well, that's the thing. Jagex is notoriously known for never like monitoring anything hardly. They'll just come out with BH and just leave it be. Just have a bunch of boosters and shit. But there's no real way they'd ever be able to actively ban people for if they ever did come out with like alts are now banned in any form, there's no way they'd ever be able to enforce that. So it would never really be a rule, to be fair.
Yeah, the best thing they can do is just patch it in the game some way so it like doesn't make everyone mad. That's pretty much it. So
Yeah. Okay. Vaddy asks, why don't you just steal your mom's credit card if you can't grind for a bond? Lol.
I actually get this one a lot. Uh well, I there's actually a lot of people that say that. I'm not even kidding. People will say,
He
they'll
thought
get
he thought he was being special, like
it.
unique, but no, it's not.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, do you want a bond or oh, credit card or whatever?"
Yeah.
But I'd never pay for membership ever. I don't think I've ever like paid. I couldn't anyways because my older brother, my parents paid for my older brother's membership anyways. There's no way they're gonna pay for mine too. And, um, if I want a membership, I'd just use a bond. Pretty easy.
So have you ever had a nightmare of like in your dream you accidentally become a member on your account and it ruins
Uh,
everything?
too many to count. Too many to count. There's so many times where like I'd like a lot of the time it would be like me sneaking into pay to play. Like it's not even me accidentally going pay to play. Sometimes I'd sneak into pay to play and be like, all right, I'm at mother load
Oh
bind,
God.
and like for some reason I was like able to like buy a bunch of ores. So I was like, all right, I'll buy some ores here so I can train smithing better on my free to play. And then like I'd use up the ores and I get like herblore XP or something, and I'm like, oh, I just ruined my account. Oh my gosh. And I'd be like, oh my god. But like a lot of them don't make sense, but
Yeah, no,
half of them are like me intentionally going pay to play with no second thought for some reason, and the other half is like me accidentally getting pay to play or something, and I'm like, oh snap, I literally just ruined my account. But
yeah. The nightmares I have are like me dying to nightmare, and like all my items go to like that coffer. And then me forgetting about it, and then me dying somewhere else, and I lose literally billions because I just forgot to reclaim my items. Like those are the nightmares that really like scare me.
yeah,
And then I'll like be in my dream, and I'll be like basically I'll like open my bank up in my dream, and I have nothing, and I'm like, oh my god, like I have thousands of hours to regrind chambers and TOB and
I guess it's kind of similar
stressful.
to like hardcores because a lot of hardcores have dreams of like them
Oh my
dying.
god.
There's also free to play hardcores that they've said they have dreams of dying and losing their free to play status and stuff like that.
Some
Pretty
people
interesting.
really love the hardcore mode, but I feel like it's just so anxiety inducing. It's just like it makes the game not really about progression anymore. It just makes you stressed out to ever do anything in game.
And then you like DC or
Yeah.
something.
And then it's not even your fault when you die. You're just so demotivated.
Yeah, I really like Greyhound better because like first of all, there's suicide methods, and then there's
Yep.
also like I can literally just go into the wilderness and not care. I can literally no stress. Like
Yep.
I can literally like oh I'd prefer to like even on a new account like I'm doing quests or whatever and like all right I need to go to Lumbridge and I'm at like 20 run or something. Let me just die to this guard, get to Lumbridge, um, get all my run back and then the collect at Death's office or whatever. Like there's a lot of little things too. Like on hardcore, there's so many restrictions, and then there's also like, oh, on my gray, I can just you know collect steel plates, for early game GP or whatever,
Yeah.
like in the wilderness, and then on hardcore, you have to like kind of like question that, and
It's just
and that,
sad because when people do die and then they continue their account, they just realize how like inefficient they've been
and make a
relatively.
new one, and then it's like, oh my gosh, imagine restarting.
Making yeah, I oh god, man. I don't understand how streamers do that.
In free to play, I think there's only really been three big hardcore deaths ever. So there was Cold Fingers 3. He was a hardcore. He was like 20 levels from max or something like that. He was streaming Boneyard. He didn't really want to be a hardcore because he wanted to do suicide methods for RC because it's high effort, high reward. And yeah, so he died at 90 Day Prayer streaming Boneyard on Twitch.
But he kind of wanted to die, you said?
Yeah, it was kind of like suiciding because
Damn.
he had to train RC. He was only like 80 RC, which is like
Yeah.
he still had over like 3K hours of RC left pretty much. So
Yeah.
like he'd prefer to do whatever. And then there's also um, Uncle Thomas. He's actually the creator of the free to play wiki,
Oh wow.
the free to play site. Yeah, he died at Shades um, on his hardcore. He's pretty high up. That was
Are,
like
are shades in the
second.
wilderness? Is
I
that what-
mean, like Shades in the Stronghold because
oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
he thought he could get shade robes. A lot of people did actually. He's like, oh, let me just get shade robes, and then it's like his like girlfriend was like upset about something, and he said he had to like go comfort her or whatever, and then he just died. I think
Oh
that's
my
about
god.
it on the hardcore deaths. Actually hasn't been that many hardcore deaths in free to play. It's kind of hard to die, and if people did die, it was like pretty early in their account.
Yeah.
Like even if you like DC at any of the bosses, it would have to be like a really unlucky DC because if you DC at like Ober or Brio, you can like when you log back in, you're outside the lair because it's like an instance, right? But
Yep.
if it's like I've died at Brio once, it was like a half DC. What I should have done was disconnect my internet, but it was like a half DC, and then like it was a complete half DC for like 5 minutes, and I couldn't move. Like I was getting attacked, and I couldn't
Jesus.
move. And I was like, oh, I'm wasting all these keys. Like, oh my god, I just wasted a key. Like that was in my mind. This is before grades too,
Yeah.
so I lost like half a trip of stuff. It was kind of sad,
Yeah.
but I guess it's kind of hard to die in free to play unless it's in the wilderness. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't there's players like I look at I know like HC Beard's one of those players that's just like they can't even play the game without being a hardcore at this point. Like
Oh
there's
my
just
gosh.
genuinely players that are just so, and there's a lot of it happens to streamers. They'll start like they'll like, just they have more exciting content apparently to the Twitch community to be a hardcore because people want to either see them die or just be there when they die. And so it's just more exciting, but at the same time it's like god, how can you be in that like continuous cycle of just remaking? It's so depressing. Zero progress is ever really made. You just have a bunch of random accounts that just are mid level. It's just painful in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever do that.
I already know I can't. Like I used to think like maybe I could do that, and then I got my hardcore back, and I'm like, dude, I can't even play this account, and it's pretty well like leveled. I focus all my attention on one account. It's very hard for me to enjoy anything else.
My pay to play Ironman that I made and to quit after like all the dailies and stuff. It was actually a hardcore, but I died at Wintertod because I didn't know how to do it, and I was like, oh, like I guess I died. But then I was like, all right, and then I just kept going, I guess. But
Yeah,
I
people
didn't
are
really care.
there's always the argument like just start off as a hardcore and then like why not start off as a hardcore? I'm like, honestly, I would
It worked
never.
for me. It worked for me, but like if someone like got pretty far into their account and then died as a hardcore, then it's like a whole different story.
The other thing though is like when you start out as a hardcore, people will just say just play as a normal Iron Man, and if you die, you die. But it's like you never truly play as a normal Iron Man because you can't go in the wilderness because you're too scared. You got to eat all the time. You got to safe up at every single thing. You got to prepare for the worst, and it's like just
No risks whatsoever.
like it's very tough to actually play as a normal Iron Man, like play with that mindset when you're hardcore. It never ends up happening. So if I were to ever make another account, it would just be a normal Iron Man because I'm not gonna deal with like being inefficient and protecting my status because like I don't know. It's just like you can't be a hardcore and play as a normal Iron Man. There's always little restrictions and stuff that you set yourself.
It's different mindset.
Yep. All right. Let's see. What does he think about the vault and what can make it at least a bit worth doing? What's the vault?
It's like a portion of the cave, the new ice cave.
Okay. So I I really should have done the quest and like experienced a little bit before this cast, but I'll be completely honest, I haven't done the quest yet or know anything about that update. So what
So
is it?
basically, like it's just like it's kind of like a maze. It costs 100. It costs 1,000 shards to do one run of it, and to get shards, you can. The best way is mining at the mining area, and then there you can also get it passively from like golems and fishing. It's like a lot less, but anyways, you go into the maze. There's like three different loot boxes that you can collect, and there's like nine in total or something. So there's three of each, and basically the tier three loot boxes they're like pretty far away, and you have a minute to collect things and go back to the entrance. So like you like I think the max like I've never gotten three of the tier threes. Like I've only gotten like two, but you can get like two tier threes, and then you can like leave just in time, like just barely. And it costs 1,000 shards, and 1,000 shards takes probably like 30 minutes, maybe like 20 minutes to get.
Okay.
when mining. So like the rewards are kind of trash. Like you can get like talismans kind of, but like only one of each, and then you can get like a fishing rod or like a some runes, but like the rewards aren't very good, and it's expensive. It takes 20 minutes to enter. That's like
Yeah.
it's like killing hill giants or killing moss giants. It takes like 20 minutes to get a key. So
Yeah. So
it's
it's not
basically
worth it.
yeah, well, it's not really worth it. But what else are you going to spend your shards on?
Yeah.
And I think the solution is just to make it cheaper. Just make it like 500 shards or whatever, or 250 shards or whatever, and then maybe add like a unique to the place or whatever. Add like a unique item or like a chance to get one of the mace pieces, because in the cave you can get like there's three different mace pieces that you get from fishing, golems, and mining or smithing. So maybe they add a chance to get one of the mace pieces, so it's like worthwhile or something like that. But
What
cheap
is
cheaper is the biggest solution in my opinion.
what do you think about buffing the table? Like what if the loot was buffed and it stayed at 1,000, what would you like recommend they do to make it balanced yet still worth doing? Like
Add
almost like
like
rewarding in a way where it's like it almost competes with like I don't know if you want that. I don't know if it's worth it to compete
I
with
think
like metas.
it'd be cool if it was like an alternative, if they added like alkables or whatever, and they added like addy items or whatever,
Yeah.
like low level rune items, like cheap rune items, and then they also added just more runes, noted talismans, and they also have like silver bars from one of them, so maybe more silver bars, just kind of like you know better alkables,
Yeah.
because newer people always love alkables. It's like free GP. So
So GP is GP used in free to play? Like is GP a thing you need to max efficiently?
well, you need GP for chronicle pages for crafting, and you also need GP for rune armor for melees, and there's also GP for feathers. There's GP for ranging. So buying addy arrows isn't that expensive. You don't need that many. And then feathers is really cheap. And then runite armor, I mean 100k one time. Then there's like chronicle pages aren't that expensive. So like you'll have a lot of extra GP on you if you're playing. Like GP is not an issue at all. Like
Okay.
some people that have killed um like 5 Ent, for example, I talked about him earlier. He killed 195 mil worth of ogresses, and he most likely has well over 500 mil GP in his inventory, like in GE value. But in terms of GP, I think it's like 250 mil or something. But he has
Jesus.
a lot of money. Like you just get so much extra money. Like there's so much extra money that I calculated that if they made construction free to play, you would have enough money to knock out construction with extra money too. So like
Damn.
he could really pay for construction all the way, which is sick.
Um yeah, I was what was the other thing I was going to ask? Shit, I just had a brain fart. Um but yeah, so money's not really an issue. There's something I was going to go with that, but I forgot. I'll think of it in a little bit. Uh Damn. Yeah, I don't I completely lost my train of thought and what I was going to say next. Okay. I'll think of it in a second. But Try Too Hard for You asks, who is the greatest to ever do it, and why is it min level Skilla?
I think he's 100% correct because mid level Skilla is so far ahead that he's ran out of skills and he has one skill left basically on a free to play account. He's a level 3 free to play UIM, so like as restricted as you can think. And so he has 4 200 mils out of like how many skills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 400 200 mils out of 8 skills. So he already has half the skills done. and his RC method is mining, smithing, crafting, and rune crafting, like trained all at the same time. So, which is like he's doing like air tiaras with Duke Horatio, farming tallies off them, and then making silver tiaras. So he essentially only has one skill left on a free to play level 3 UIM, which is insane. Like literally, there's only like two other paid free to play Ironman with 200 mils, which is like Anne Shirley and Ironman 260, and they have 200 mils and melees, or one has 200 mil strength, another one has 200 mil defense. So
So this
that's like,
guy, so he has 97 room crafting. How many hours has that been for the people listening?
so let me just see his XP. Uh, so that's well over 4,000 hours. 3,500 hours, almost 4,000. So that's a lot of time just making air tiaras
Jesus.
on a level 3 UIM. Can't teleport, by the way. So they still walk everywhere. And
Fuck.
so, like, he has. There's only six. There's only six 200 mils that have ever been achieved on a free to play Ironman, and he has four of them. So it's pretty nuts. And he's running out of 200 mils. He's literally almost done.
Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait. You're saying there's only been 6 total ever that any player's ever done, and he has
yeah,
4 of them?
yeah, he has four of them. And
Fuck.
there was a time when he had all the 200 mils for free to play Ironman. He's had, like, just subtract the amount of hours he spent on RC, and that's like, he started RC after he got the four 200 mils.
Oh
So
my god.
literally, like, over a year ago, he had those 200 mils, which is insane.
So, so like, how many hours does he play on average a day?
Um, I think he used to play around 8, but he plays well over 10, maybe 11, 12, something like that. He's been putting in crazy hours like in the past year. I think it's because of COVID.
So what motivates him when it's such a tedious and very like monotonous grind? What's the thing that's motivating him, do you think?
Um,
Cuz yeah,
he,
that's absolutely
he's
incredible to see
he's
this.
definitely sort of active in the community. He's in the 385 CC. Um, and he talks a lot, but I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's mostly like consistency and just like he's already so far ahead. You might as well just keep going. You know, he's
He's like the Lynx Titan of free to play.
basically he is probably over 20,000 hours played. Pretty nuts.
Like
In
efficient hours?
no, oh, efficient hours is kind of debatable
Yeah.
because there's like the double hop method, because who knows
Yeah,
if
true.
that's worth for level threes, and there's all this stuff. But and then there's also like if Ice Cave smithing gets buffed, then it's like, you know, maybe he'll go to that and then do double hop crafting at Barrack Southwest. But you know, it's
So, what's his ultimate goal? Is it to get 200 mil all in the 8 skills he has?
well, the issue with that is that it, it's probably not possible in a lifetime. So his goal is 25 mil RC, which he predicts by the time he gets 25 mil RC, the game will die. So that's what he
Oh my
said.
god. But isn't
But
but isn't that only like realistically like another 5,000, 6,000 hours? Like I
if he
mean,
puts a lot of time into it,
yeah. Cuz
it's like 2 years, a year and a half, not from now, but that's after he gets like 99. Um, but who knows? They're probably gonna add like some weird RC mini game, and it's like 20k per hour AFK or whatever, and
yeah,
then
probably.
it's like for some reason like RC isn't the slowest skill anymore, and then it loses all of its like identity in free to play, because like
Yeah, that
every
would be
skill has its identity.
that's crazy though. That's an insane account.
Yeah, he's probably the greatest free to play account ever.
Yeah, that
That's
is
it.
actually insane to be able to persist that much. And I mean, I see you as well. Like your account's really crazy, honestly, with all like, the Obor and Bryophyta, and just your account in general is pretty massive. But like because you say you have a lot of goals still, and you've kind of mentioned some of them, but like, is there sort of like an end goal to it, or do you want to just keep going? Is the account you play on now like the only account you ever want to play?
Um, I have a few other accounts that I like playing, but I don't know what's after max and a couple 200 mils. I have no idea what's after it. It honestly, it really depends on what Jagex puts in the game, and then there's also like RL stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what's gonna be going down. It's more like um, we'll see what happens. You know, it's like whatever happens, I'll adjust to it and come up with my goals accordingly.
Yeah. Well, damn. Okay. Um, My Thick Lime says, "Hey, big fan of your work, Sae Bae and Tanner. Two tick manip gods in a single podcast. Looking forward to it. My questions: thoughts on the key system for free to play bossing? So I guess just getting those keys. And then what is one thing you would change about the system if you could?
Um, I actually like the grind, believe it or not. A lot of people don't like getting keys. I can understand that, but like if they were to change it now, then it's just like, oh wow, 10 kills per hour now. It's like, oh, that
And
completely
the loot
devalued
is
everything.
busted. It would
Yeah,
completely break the meta.
yeah, or they'd have to make the loot a lot worse than it is now, or else everything will just plummet on the GE.
Yep.
But because like pay to play can just like go in there, two shot the boss and get like 30K or whatever, and then
Yeah.
pretty broken. But one thing I'd change about the system, um, I think it's relatively okay. Um, I'm not entirely sure what I'd add or remove from the system. Maybe maybe have a higher chance of getting another key from the boss after killing it. That would be kind of nice.
It's like what, 1 in 16 or something right now?
Yeah, it's 1 in 16. It's a pre-roll. So maybe like
I always thought that was really silly, especially when that's the only drop you get. It's like, or I don't know if that's actually how it works. Do you get two drops, or is it just you kill it
it's
and then you
a
get a key?
you get two drops.
Oh,
So
so if you roll the key, that's just a secondary roll.
yeah, it's secondary. But they could make it so it's like a 1 in 16 chance to get one or two keys. So imagine getting two keys from a
Yeah.
boss or something like that. That would be sick.
I always just found it funny that there even is a thing. It's the same thing with Scotizo. It's like you get another totem for fighting the boss. It's just like, huh? Like what? Like I
Dude, yeah.
understand this is awesome, but at the same time, it's like this is so pointless. It's just like, okay, I gotta
I
kill it.
think I don't know. I think I kind of like the system how it is now. If they were to change it, it just changed too many things. Like
Yeah,
maybe
I'm a
I don't
big
know.
I'm a big fan of how those work. Just you grind a boss. It's the same thing. Like I really love Scotizo, and I love the system how they like guarantee clues. Really like that. I'm a big clue fanatic, but yeah, it's just fun because you do other grinds and you feel like you're getting this passive like thing done, like totem pieces. I man, I don't really like being in the catacombs. I feel like the atmosphere is just kind of dreary, just being in there for too long. It's just kind of like a depressing place. Something about Zaya in general, just kind of like being there, is just depressing. I feel like it's kind of funny. I heard somebody mention like that new Below Ice Mountain place. It's like all purple underneath, and it's just like such a weird color. Like Jagex has something with like purple.
Yeah, there's so many purples, but I kind of like. It's more like it's like yeah, it's dark and purple, but I think it's easy on the eyes. I kind of
That's true.
like it to be easy on the eyes.
It's
Like
not
if
like
it was like
Vorkath.
pure
Bright
white,
white,
or,
yeah.
yeah, or like orange or yellow or something
True,
really
true.
disgusting.
Yeah,
I
but
prefer for it to be like blue or something like that. If
hmm
that makes sense.
I just wish it was gray. Just some like really medieval, like I don't know, just something with purple. It's just kind of like I don't know,
There's a
but
lot of purple stuff. Huh?
yeah, it really is. But yeah, I would love just me personally to like grind something in the catacombs and just stack up a bunch of totems. Like that sounds so much fun, but it's hard for I don't know what it is about it. It's hard for me to like just be in there for too long. Just I just kind of want to leave. It's like life draining. Anyway, but yeah, I really like drop systems like that where you get passive keys or totems and stuff.
Yep.
And my goal with Sarachnis, you get passive grubby keys. I really am. I'm gonna stack up all my grubby keys, I think. But one thing I would really love is if grubby keys had a chance of dropping clues from the chest.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But currently, I kind of like it. You just get like nice amount of loot, nothing OP, but you also get crystal keys, which is really huge for completing Dragonstone armor. Anyway, but yeah, I really love those like passive drops you just collect. Okay. He's got an amazing account and dedication. Tannerdino, what is your proudest achievement on your account?
Uh, Kind of tough because I now that I look back at like a lot of the stuff, I do have a good amount of achievements, but like a lot of them aren't exactly finished because I want to get 200 mil attack, as I said earlier, and I haven't yet achieved it. But I guess I really like my Ober KC. I spent so much time on that. It felt like it felt so long to get 3K. I'll probably have to get more eventually if some pay to play canon noob tries to pass it or whatever.
Is somebody like on the way?
There
Do you,
was one guy, but like I had like 200 keys banked and I just dropped it on his head and it, like
and then
he
gave
just
up.
stopped playing. He never logged in again. Like
Or
I don't,
he's stacking keys. Oh shit!
no,
Or
no,
has his XP even gained?
I tracked him on Temple. I had tracked him for like a week and he didn't gain any XP.
You
So
single handedly burned that man out. Damn,
I think so.
savage.
But yeah, Ober Casey was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm still working on my account. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would say your 3,000 Obor KC is pretty insane, and obviously all the Bryophyte that you've done is fucking incredible. What's rank one at? Because I know you have all those keys banked. What's the KC that rank one's at?
I think it's like 1.5K. Maybe it's closer to 2K now.
Does he know
I,
about you? Like, does he know that you can literally pass him in a day if you wanted to?
oh
Basically.
yeah, the funny thing is that guy actually started PMing me. Like if he's watching this podcast now, like I'm sorry, but he started PMing me. He's like, "Yo, like," because like he knew I existed, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Yo, I really like your KC. I'm going for rank one and stuff." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's sick. You can do it. You can do it." And I had
You
like
can do
2K.
it.
I had 2K Moss keys in my bank. I didn't tell him at all. So like he
Jesus
literally
Christ.
thinks he's like home free.
Oh my God.
But let's see. I don't have it open. I'm opening up right now, but let's see. So there's this guy. There's another guy, Arc Doom, 1.7K. Dude, I'm gonna have to like drop it on one of these guys once they finally bring in a unique drop to Bryophyta. Like I really hope it's this update because it would
Yeah.
take me like a week to use up all the keys, but
I was
it
gonna
would be
ask, yeah, how long would it take to use them all up? Just a
it would
week.
take a week of me playing all day. So
Yeah.
like, probably like a week and a half maybe.
Damn. Yeah, that's funny. It kind of it reminds me of Phrygian. So Phrygian is like the rank one hard clue Iron Man, and I remember looking at his before I really was going into hard clues because I had like a month span where I was doing green dragons last year, and I was kind of going for like rank 1 hards. And he was camped at like 4,000 hard clues for a while, and like rank 2 was at like 2,500, so it was a huge gap. And then he came into my stream. He's like, "Yeah, here's my current stack." He was at like 1,500 to hard stacked at the time. Now he's like at 9,000 hard clues. That's all he
Jeez.
does. Yeah, and rank 2 is still not even at 3,000 yet. So he is like you with like your Bryophyta. He's the Tannerdino of hard clues, I guess. He just stacks them and then just unleashes randomly. But yeah.
The harder the unleash, the harder for them to bounce back. So
Oh yeah, it's just like damn, it's just fucking
the
demotivating.
big
Yeah,
demotivator.
yeah. But I am a competitive player, and I feel like it's just fun when people really go ham. Like I respect Freejan a lot for going unnecessarily ham at hard clues. Where it's just like he's so far ahead, but he just keeps pushing the limits. I admire it, and it's inspiring. It's almost like I want to. It's just cool having somebody that does that, and it's like, okay, shit, like there is somebody that's like the best, like let me try to compete with that. So it's fun.
Mhm.
But I have to wait until I get my Inquisitor's Mace before I can start like going ham on clues again, because that's something I've just been craving for so many months now, almost a year. I want to do clues so bad. I want to just start competing and rolling third age and stuff. I feel like that is the biggest reason why I can never do free to play either. It's because you don't get clues. There's so many things you're missing from free to
Sure.
play, but I understand the appeal is the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheery asks, what are the substantial differences in the free to play Greyhelm UIM experiences? Like you said, really is not much. I remember hearing a comment that they are generally similar in EHP rates and methods, and I'm curious what makes that so. Though I could be misremembering that.
So yeah, they're really similar. They're just different play styles. For UIMs, you can't skill hop as often as like Greyhound, so you're kind of restricted more, and there's less alternatives for UIMs too. But the HP rates are generally the same because it's a lot of the time it's pretty inefficient to bank unless you're like, because for like combats you're like prayer flicking, you don't need food, and you know for like fire making, like the only difference is like fire making, because for Greyhelms you can bank your logs for faster woodcut XP, because fire making takes a lot of ticks, and you can like fire make on your way to like mining essence or something, because you have to bank
True.
essence. So that's like one of the only differences. And then there's also like if like again, alternatives. So like rings of foraging, it's a lot harder to do rings of foraging on a UIM than on a gray. But if you want to train smithing efficiently, a UIM can just a UIM and a gray can easily just telegraph gnats in the wilderness, then superheat their whole gnat stack. So it's not much of a difference until you get to like the really really little nuances and also playstyle. So
Okay. Yeah, pretty similar. Um, would you? Okay, so I'm kind of curious again. Would you? Are you interested in a new skill ever?
um honestly, this might be a shock, but I really want free to play agility. And the reason why is because so they'd never add another free to play skill again. It's because like that's the only pay to play skill that I want in free to play. Honestly, that's the only thing. Maybe construction or thieving or something, but the ones that have been proposed, like Slayer and fletching, they'll absolutely ruin everything. Fletching will ruin woodcutting because woodcutting is such a good skill. Don't ruin it. And then there's Slayer will literally ruin all of combats, and all of combats ruins everything else.
Yeah.
So Slayer literally changes the entire game mode. I mean, like, you know, killing cows until 99 Slayer, and then you have no laws, and that's for smithing and crafting, and then
Yeah.
it just you have to do slow smithing and crafting, and it's so bad. And fleshing just makes wood cutting a second mining, because mining is actually zero time on free to play Ironman, because you have to train it during smithing and room crafting and crafting.
I know this sounds busted, but I just want to hear your thoughts. I just thought about it. What if what if there was what if the nature altar was free to play? I know that's like not gonna happen, but I'm just an interesting thought. Like, would that completely change metas of like getting nats to superheat and stuff if you could craft natures?
Like the nature altar in Shiloh Village.
Yeah, like just north of Shiloh Village. Like
Mm.
but obviously it wouldn't, I don't know. It would have to be some little it wouldn't make sense obviously, but if for some reason there was access to the nature altar, maybe it was a longer distance and like some maybe Aubrey teleports you there, just something weird like that. Like I'm
Like a
just kind of curious
rune
your thoughts
crafting,
if you could runecraft gnats.
like a rune crafting mini game that allows you to rune craft nats or something.
Yeah, something like that where it becomes like natures are no longer like a telegraph thing, but it's actually like
I
maybe,
would
yeah, I don't know.
I would definitely not want that in the game. That's basically the equivalent of like adding nature runes to like the Aubrey shop or whatever, the rune shop.
Yeah, just busting
Because
it.
you can just get it pretty much instantly,
Yeah.
virtually just instantly. But like
I
that would break smithing. It would actually
yeah.
break smithing.
I just find it interesting because I feel like natures are always like those things that are just so precious to
Definitely.
an Iron Man.
It's like it's smithing has gotten so many buffs, and through discoveries and updates, like the first being uh the first being ogresses that made smithing faster, and then telegraph nats was discovered, or it became viable because of world hop changes, world hop limit
Yeah.
changes a few years back, and then smithing got faster, and then oh you know, snow tick minute superheat was discovered or became viable, smithing became faster, and then oh, double hopping, smithing became faster. Oh, what's next? A nature rune, zero time nature runes or whatever during RC. Oh, smithing just got faster again, and then like
Yeah.
every day, it's like, oh, there's no way smithing can get faster, but then it just gets faster. Smithing has gotten faster like 10 times, I swear.
So what's the EHP rate for smithing for irons?
It's only 20K right now, but like honestly, if you're like mega efficient, you can probably get 26K on average because
And
of like double hopping and
let's
stuff.
say 3 years ago, what was it ish?
Uh, so it's like 9K,
Wow,
7K for UAMs. So
crazy. Yeah, I guess I just thought of that because it would be cool if rune crafting could give you like nice runes. But then again, I'm not a free to play Iron Man that knows how game breaking that would be. I just think about it because rune crafting, you never do it for the runes. It's just for the XP.
yeah,
So
it might be a lot more balanced if it was log runes, but like then again, that's kind of like trash, right? Like,
yeah,
why would you want to?
yeah,
Like, I don't want that in the game. I don't want zero time law runes. That makes law runes useless almost. Like, well, they're useful, but it makes it so abundant. Like, you have extra law runes. It would be efficient to drop law runes on a UAM. Like, it's pretty
yeah,
weird.
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Um, we've already covered it. I'll just give him a shout out. I feel like you've already covered it, but he says Steebag asks, "What made you start a free to play account?" I've never considered it, so I'm curious what got you interested. And you've already kind of gone through that origin, but did you have any long term goals when you started the account? That's what I'm curious of.
Oh man, I almost had no goals. Like, my only goal was like, oh, it'd be sick to get my first 99 ever in RuneScape. and I got it. I was like, oh, 6. This is awesome. Let me get another one. And then I got another one, another one. And then it ended up turning out like, oh, you know, now I'm really interested in metas and stuff, and I want to get my first 200 mil, which is what I'm working on right now. But I can't find the question anywhere.
What?
I'm trying to find it on Twitter. Where is it?
What, the Steabag one? The one that I just asked?
Yeah.
Steabag, it's the little peepo with a little helicopter hat. He says, what made you start a free to play? And then he says, do you have any long term goals when you started the account? That was basically it.
Oh, I found it. So I made a free to play account because I was poor. I mean, not because I was poor, because I had no choice. Like, I was forced to make it, basically, if I wanted to actually play. So yeah, long-term goals almost non-existent when I first made my account. I was a complete noob, the biggest noob, negative IQ. Trust me when I believe that. Trust me when I say that. Like 100% negative IQ.
So like, I hope that's inspiring to players that think they have negative IQ right now. You'll make it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
it's interesting though because you see a bunch of players that start off just as a newbie player or something, and then usually because of a community, they become very active and very intelligent with the game, and study the wiki and do spreadsheets and stuff. It's just cool to see. Getting
Yeah,
really
literally.
passionate about the game.
Almost the only thing that matters is if you're willing to learn. Like,
Yep.
if you're not willing to learn, you're not going to get anywhere. But
Yep.
like,
True.
if you have the drive to learn, you're gonna get where you want to get almost
True.
every
True. True.
time. So,
And I'm gonna add on to that. Learning is like a conscious thing. It's like it actually takes effort too. It can't just be like, oh,
yeah.
I'm interested in this. Like you gotta apply yourself as well. Because something, for example, that I saw was like before I learned how to, get good at PVM and stuff. I remember seeing streamers like Latius and Hauke flicking God Wars, and I was like, holy fuck! Like, how does one get to that point? Like, honestly, like, how does one get to that point where they can just flick God Wars? But anybody can really do it. It just takes you going there and actively learning and like critically thinking. I think that's the big part is like the critical thinking and the critical like the actual applying what you learn into doing
Also,
stuff in the game.
talking to people, not being afraid of
Yep.
asking questions.
Yep.
You know,
That's huge. That is a big reason why I love Summit is because I feel very comfortable asking questions.
yeah. At first, I was like, oh, I feel so newbie. I'm still really newbie because stuff they talk about. It's
Because you
like,
see the five heads in there that are just
yes,
crazy. Like they know
like
everything.
Jesus. It's like the only thing I'm good at or good at knowing is like tick minute. But everyone here is just like they know everything. It's
Yep.
like, geez, and still learning all the time.
Yeah. But it's
But
cool because they've made an environment where you can ask questions. You don't feel like you're being belittled or anything.
yeah, definitely.
So that's definitely huge, asking questions. Okay. Lilac asking as a complete outsider, is there much controversy around the use of pay to play alts in the free to play community? Do you think it's fair? Does it make the game more fun?
Um, there's like not really. I mean, the only people complaining about it is like people that aren't in the community. There's a small select few that actually have problems with it, and the people that do have problems with it don't really care, and they just play an Ironman. Um, so like pay to play GP alts. I mean, like in my opinion, GP is zero time. You can literally buy bonds for your GP, and I don't care. Um, you know, it's like if you want to make GP and free to play, it's 100% doable. Honestly, it's more tedious, it's harder, but pay to play is fine in my opinion. As long as your free to play account has never had pay to play on it, that account alone if it has 100% free to play, it's fine in my opinion.
Yep.
But if you like hop to pay to play to make extra GP on that same account. Like that's
Yeah,
obviously
that's
not
bad.
allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I feel like if you play a main, that's what you have to accept is
Yeah.
people can money's zero time. I remember cuz I watch pause videos on YouTube and he was just saying he had like a little ramble talking about like what GP zero time really means for free to play. Like if GP truly was zero time, the methods you could do. Like I think one of them was like rune plates or something like that. Was like
Yeah.
something where it's just so absurdly expensive. Yet like that would be the meta and
There's
stuff.
also like doing body tiaras with like 5 runners, paying them like essence runner rates, like 8 mil an hour, and it's like
Jesus Christ.
over like 50 bill for Teardrum RC, and it's like slow
What
RC too.
what are the XP rates for that? If
Um,
theoretically if you had that many at all times.
160K, but like
Jesus.
really, if you want to do a runner, it's probably worthwhile to do like 1+1, which is 100K per hour.
Oh wow, yeah.
But and you only need one runner. There's not a lot of runners in free to play. Shout out to the free to play runners Discord. Um, but we also need more RCers because it's so expensive to RC because body tally rates are like they went up to like 3K or something at one point per body
Wow.
tally, and you need like tons of them. They only give 37.5 XP each, so you need well over 5 million of them. So or
Jesus.
500K of them. I mean, so oh yeah, no, it is 5 million. So 5 million like body talismans for 200 mil, and they have terrible prices because there's barely any of them getting put in the game. Like the only things that drop them are like guards and hill giants. So like everyone's waiting. Like every reg is just waiting for that one new thing to give a bunch of body talismans. So it just goes down under like 1,000 or 1,500 rather. So like
Jeez.
that's what
Yeah.
everyone's waiting for. That's why people want body talismans from clues. That's why I want body talismans from clues so I can get more RCers
Yeah.
because I'm actually a free to play runner
Okay.
and I love running for uh, other RCers. It's a lot of fun and I make a lot of GP on the side too. So
So what do you do with GP on the side? You just store it on your main and just hold it or what? Or do you do anything
so
active with it?
I have a free to play main. I said that
Oh
earlier.
yeah, yeah.
I have enough GP to max, which is like our 1.2 bill or whatever to max efficiently, and I store it. And I've also been making money from like the Serp Hugger challenges,
Oh yeah.
getting some of those splits,
Those are cool.
and yeah, I'm getting a lot of money. I'm trying to work towards max cash, which is nice. It would be like my first max cash ever. I've never had max cash before,
Yeah.
and
That's I speaking of max cash, I always wanted to get that on my Iron Man and then a scythe came out with blood runes where all your money goes there and I'm like, yeah, I've already spent like 1.3 bill on bloods. Like I don't think I'm ever
yeah,
yeah.
I'd say the same, but like that's virtually impossible on a free to play Iron Man unless you want to spend like you get like 300 mils at Ogresses or something. So
Wait. I'm actually curious. I know you probably are unfamiliar with this, but do you remember the hardcore Iron Man firsts achievements? There was like a page where it's like hardcore Iron Man could get the first to do something. One of them was like to achieve 1 bill cash. Has that ever been achieved yet on a hardcore? Do you even know?
free to, in free to play,
No, it wasn't free to play. It was just hardcore in general. Just
I don't know.
oh, okay, yeah. Now I'm just
Probably.
there was a whole like hardcore Iron Man firsts page, and a
There's a,
bunch of people were
there's a,
competing for it initially, but I don't think anybody's even achieved 1 bill on
there's a
hardcore.
lot of there's a lot of Greyhounds with 1 bill at least, right?
Well, yeah,
That's
Gray
correct.
Helms, it's a lot easier. I feel like because you got like I don't know, maybe I don't know because I'm thinking like of the hardcores. I'm thinking like Ari Slash and like Saw Kid, like if they even have 1 bill. GP because they're like obviously they're not like PVMers hardly, but
Yeah, I guess you would have to do a lot of PVMing.
yeah. I was just thinking about because obviously a lot of gray helms have it because of like revs in the past and stuff, but interesting. I don't know why that just came to my mind, but yeah. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool to get max cash. Imagine getting max cash on a free to play iron. That'd be so fucked.
It
How long
takes
would that take?
oh my gosh, that'd take
Like, how much money
probably
could you get an hour if you just grinded GP?
probably not over 100K, unless
Oh my god.
unless you're doing like Runite or something. Unless you like
Mining
mining
Runite efficiently with
mining Runite
no, yeah, with no like competition.
and then tick manipulate so you can get
Yeah,
double rolls and stuff
yeah.
like that. And
Oh my god. Yeah, that's got to be the
not get
absolute
paid.
fastest for money.
Get
That's
to
so
compete with
crazy
all the
fast.
pay to play people that are mining Runite and free to play worlds. And
Like,
it's
yeah, that video I did, that initial video where I was 1.3 ticking, I guess, but getting the double roll on Runite out in the wilderness. Like, I got like 175 ore in an hour.
you also had the Varrock armor or whatever, right?
That's true. And the gloves.
Yeah, I wonder how fast that'll be with double hopping. I remember watching that video. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I guess there is a lot of pay to play perks that are going on right there. But and you get good clues per hour if you wear the Ring of Wealth. Those little clue geodes you get. I think it's you get like a clue geode every like I don't know, like not even 100 runite you mine, you get one, so very irrelevant, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, like that has to be the absolute fastest for free to play in in an ideal situation where there's no competition.
Yeah. Imagine all the mining XP. I don't even know if I'm really curious if it's better just to alch alch the runite on the spot or whatever, or mine the coal because you had to mine 8 coal. You know, long coal takes. That's the reason why iron smithing is meta for Iron Man because you don't have to mine any coal. Coal is terrible. Has terrible mechanics. It has a success stall at the end of it, so
Yeah,
it wastes a tick.
so obnoxious. I am still an advocate for that. Just get rid of all tick delays after mining, please. It's
Yeah,
so tedious.
that's one of the reasons why mining mechanics is frustrating. And
It's
it's like,
so
oh my
frustrating.
gosh. And
Yeah.
then it's like, then there's also the success rate. Like, thank God for double rolls, or else that success rate would be terrible.
Oh yeah.
I haven't I've been waiting to make a coal spreadsheet, but I haven't been able to because I like to pull numbers off the wiki, and they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it for coal yet, and
Damn.
I pull it off for like success rates and stuff.
Yeah.
Might have to ask that admins or whatever.
Imagine you could like I mean, obviously free to play is different, but just imagine being able to like if all ores had a higher success chance to mine, every single ore didn't have a tick delay. Like, dude, I feel like the gem mine in pay to play would be so much fun being able to 3 tick that, not like have the tick delay. Just being able to
Yeah,
go ham around that little thing because that would actually probably become meta. That or gold, if you could like
yeah,
3 tick
gold.
gold.
That's
Like
what I
gold,
was.
yeah, gold would become really good. But like if you made gem mine into 3 tick, that's like 120k mining XP an hour plus like I don't even
GP.
so many gems, so much crafting XP and GP. Yeah,
That would be good for free to play mains because they can literally you gotta cut gems for crafting. Makes gems
yeah.
cheaper.
No, it's. I think that would just be fucking awesome. I I don't know. I'm just a huge fan of just getting rid of that, and increasing the success chance as well. Like imagine just being able to mine coal and like have it not be just absolute dog shit.
Ah man, 100% silver at like 90 mining or something would be so
Oh,
nice.
I don't know why silver still takes forever to mine. That shit's like
It's
level. What is that?
level
40.
20, 5. It's 5 after iron, and it's 70. It's a
God,
76% success rate at 99, and iron becomes 100% success rate at 61 mining. So
Jesus, yeah. And I really wish silver respawned quicker.
yeah,
I
it
bet
takes
you
like
could. I bet you could imagine that as well.
it takes a whole minute.
Yeah, that's
Like,
so
and then
stupid.
iron is like what, 4.5 seconds?
Yeah,
It's like, geez, dude.
it's really yeah. Yeah. Oh god. I could go into so many like complaints I have about like pay to play stuff, but I know you're
And coincidentally, like iron doesn't have the success stall for some reason. Like, this is
so
kind of
strange.
fishy. It's like, did Jagex intentionally do this to iron or something? Because all the good rocks don't have a success stall at the end.
Yep.
So it's like granite doesn't,
That's why
rune
there's
doesn't.
that's why they're so much more fun to mine, like sandstone, granite, iron. They're just enjoyable. Like you feel like there's a flow going when you're mining.
It's more lenient,
Yep.
and it allows for more room. That's why I
Dude,
like wood cutting too, by the way.
dude, okay, so I've tried. So in the Prif mine, there's like a little gold section where there's a bunch of gold rocks. Obviously, it's never efficient, but I just sat down one day. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see how many gold I can mine manually doing like 1.5 tick, kind of in a way, like just getting the double roll. Just see how much, dude. I kid you not. There was one rock that took like 40 seconds for me to finally mine. It was
Ah,
just painful. Just
dude, the
it's just
worst part
awful.
about the worst part about double rolling like rocks with success stalls is that you had to kind of like,
You have to
you know
decide whether to like four
do it
ticket or
early.
do it
Yeah,
like yeah, it's
it's like,
horrible.
oh my god,
Like
you kind
you
of have to like pre-do it.
I know. No, it's the absolute worst because I was just it's like is the success rate high enough for me to just try to three tick this and then when I get the roll just fucking sit there for a tick because everything's off? Like it's horrible. Yeah,
It's
the
like
whole
it's
thing's
like
a
two
mess.
it's like two ticking at that point. It's, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no.
sometimes 2.5 tick, and it's like,
Yeah.
jeez.
It's so painful, dude. They really just that getting rid of that would make mining so great. Just
100%.
even if the success rates weren't buff, like that alone would just be a very big quality of life, and it would make gem rocks like fucking amazing. I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. All right. I guess we'll kind of cover this. I'm just curious. A lot of folks don't care at all about the free to play community and don't consider this would shaft the free to play community as a valid argument against an update. How would you convince someone to care about the free to play community? Context, I love you. So I want to kind of just say something quickly before this. I remember when, and you probably vividly remember when two ticking became randomly a thing where you could auto cast.
Definitely.
And that was actually not that big of a deal to pay to play. It was actually extremely balanced. Obviously, it's weird. It's just weird for the game to have that because you would just basically do that at a lot of places. But free to play, it drastically fucked over like metas and stuff.
Oh yeah, two tick wood cutting. It just made it so much easier and fat. Like, made it way faster. It
Oh
made it
yeah,
like 120k an hour or something like that, or something insane compared to like 100k per hour is like the max you can get, and that's with like try hard 2.66 tick or 2.767 tick, whatever
yeah.
you call it. And
I just round up, man. Just round up. Yeah.
I keep it going, but it's yeah, it was completely broken. It was easier, it was faster. It didn't You didn't have to use alts.
Yep.
You can get crashed. Kind of sucked. Like I'd be like using the Dark Wizard at like Draenor Willows, and some dude would be like, "Oh, I'll save you. Oh, I'll save you." And it's just like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, can you
Yeah.
please just go away.
Dude,
And then
I'll be honest, when it first came out, I understood that, and I know Pause was really vocal about like how this is just destroying. At least that's
yeah,
what I recall. But and I completely agree. It really ruined
it
stuff.
also made 2.5 tick mining. You didn't have to use alts, and you can do 2.5 tick so easily. And then there's
True.
less. This one didn't really change much, but you could do like 2 tick swordfish or whatever. But that required an all, and it wasn't that. It was pretty much slower than trout and salmon, because the success rates aren't good at all, and there's no like dragon harpoon like there is in pay to play. So like the success rates are terrible.
Yeah. I was actually I was going ham for like a few days when I discovered that meta of like two
I'm
ticking.
so glad it was discovered on Friday because I literally spent like 20 hours a day on the weekend just like wood cutting. I abused it to the
Oh god.
fullest extent. I just wanted to abuse it as much. I didn't care if I got banned. I just wanted to abuse it because I wanted extra logs.
It was fun. Like it's one of those things where you know it's horrible for like the game mode, but at the same time you're like, this is really
I
just
have to do this. Like
you know.
there's no other way. I have to do this.
Dude,
It's too fast not to.
I really loved it. I was I'd go to like the woodcutting guild where you get like the buff and stuff, like the passive woodcutting buff, and you could just sit there and like two tick use, get like I think it was like 100 and it was at least 110k XP an hour, just two ticking use and banking logs. It was just it was just something so like because obviously you already have 1.5 tick tick, so for a member it's like dude you can already get over 200k an hour if you really wanted to, and like there was already the mahogany method where you could literally bank 900 mahogany planks an hour and get like 120k XP an hour doing 1.5 tick mahog. So it was nothing game breaking at all, but it was just a very chill method where it's like, I don't know. I really loved it, and I was really sad when it went away. But I was like, for it's good. I don't know. Overall, it was a good thing to
Yeah,
get
it
nerfed.
shouldn't. It should have definitely been patched. If it was in free to play right now, that'd be kind of like
Oh yeah,
it
just
just had such a big effect. It would just be so
huge
sad.
thing.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, they still have it for dark crabs, which is cool. There's a couple fishing spots where you can still do the auto cast thing.
yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess they sort of forgot about that, or it has something to do with
It's the way the
how like
fishing spot works. There's only a few places like anglers you can do it, monkfish, and
I
dark
tried it.
crabs.
I tried it on a lot of areas on in free to play.
You just
Like
can't do it.
after I after I was aware of like the dark crabs thing, but like none of it, nothing worked. Not except for fire making. I didn't try that, but someone in the summit said that it worked for fire making, which was really good.
Interesting. Oh
So
yeah, was that GE challenge that did that, or I can't
I think
remember.
it was one of the newer guys.
How do you
Keeps
two tick
going.
fire make? I just recently saw that. I think it was GE challenge that showed it, or
Oh yeah,
what was that?
there's that. It's because it's basically delaying the stall because of like pathing or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I
like
know that wasn't the exact same thing, but
the skilling timer keeps going, but the stall is just extended. So like, and you get the XP after the stall. So like, if it's
yeah,
like a two tick stall, then you're gonna get the XP, and the skilling timer goes to like -1 or whatever, and then you can fire make after that. But I think it was Byro 009. He's like he just joined like last week in the summit. So yeah,
interesting.
basically you can start the beginning of the fire make um with the autocast thing or whatever. So it's pretty interesting. But you can't continuously do it because you're still you get the four tick cycle from the
Yeah, you're
first
still
log.
bound by it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. 42 just asks, and we've already answered it. Sub question: has the free to play community been nuked by the update?
Not at all. And Jagex is working towards making the updates are the XP rates are absolute trash, but Jagex is working towards actually buffing them
That's cool.
so they can become alternatives. You mostly alternative to alternatives, so like they're like a third alternative, but they're like more FK. So I proposed rates to them, and literally everyone in the community agreed. So yeah, hopefully they take in consideration. I also told them how to get the rates. So like, oh, change the XP per thing over here, change drop table or whatever. Like I put in a lot of specification in my proposals to Jagex. Hopefully they, you know, make it somewhere around where the free to play community asks, but can only hope, really.
So Scrub Lord asked which pay to play skill would fit best into current free to play, and you said agility.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So when you say add agility, and obviously it's not like you're advocating for it, but you're just saying if there was one, that would be the best. Would it just be like the Draenor course, the Alcarid and Varrock, and that's like it basically, and then you just have those really shitty XP rates?
There would be Fally,
Oh yeah, Fally as well. True, forgot about that.
preferably like if they were to add one, definitely agility, like you said, because it's just and plus if they add agility now, they probably won't add another free to play skill.
Yep.
So good to
So
get
what are the XP rates at Fally? It's like 40,
30K, I think.
30. Okay, yeah, 30K.
But or maybe it's like 28K. But I'd be happy if they like buffed Fally a little bit and then added like an Edge of O course or something.
Dude, Fally course is so painful. That is my least favorite course.
Yeah, I think a few years back, Mod Husky said that he wanted to like change up, like add really small quality of life things to like Valley Course or whatever.
It's so bad, dude. I don't know what it even is about it. I think like it's just like a very depressing area. It's just like the very west side of Falador that's just like nobody ever goes to, and then it's the whole course is just slow.
It's long and it's
Yeah,
camera angle changing and stuff like that.
bad. It's not fun, and
I'd
you
be
fail that tightrope, and it's just miserable.
I'd be happy if they added like a course that's like better than Valley and better than Canifis or whatever.
What about Brimhaven? I guess Brimhaven's right outside in a members area, but what if what if that was free to play? Would that be cool or bad? Obviously, that's way too good of XP, but
Brimhaven.
maybe.
Honestly, I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, I don't want them to add new areas to free to play unless it's like a dungeon or something that's like not on the map or not visible, sorta, that you
Yeah,
can easily just avoid. Because like I don't know, I really like how like free to play looks at the moment. So like you I don't know, just having access to more area just almost doesn't feel free to play unless
yeah, I
it's
can
like
see
a
that.
dungeon or something where you can just I'm just never gonna go in there. Like why would I, you know?
Yeah,
But I don't know, maybe because I don't know, it just seems like I don't know.
yeah. No, I can see that. I feel like 30K or whatever the XP rate is like a good nostalgic, just shitty low rate for free to play agility. Where it's not.
That'd be pretty. That's actually it'd make a doable 200 mil for free to play Iron Man.
Just
30K is a pretty fast rate.
yeah, Jesus, dude. I like how that's fast.
Yeah, it's
What
like
what is the what is the fastest rate for free to play Iron Man? Like what's like obviously you can consider banked stuff, like probably
and then
burning willows or something as fastest, but
and then there's also like zero time skills like
that's true. That's true.
cooking.
That's true.
But if you like completely delete zero time, then like fishing is probably the fastest. Get like
What's the XP rate? 95 or something?
that's if you
Like sweating.
finish. That's if you finish cooking. Like
Oh, yeah,
that's
true.
cooking like it
Cooking slows it down because you have to.
because you get to four tick once you're out of fish. So it's around 80K an hour, but like people don't like that method. So usually it's around 45K an hour, which is pretty fast. But melees can get up to like 55K an hour easily at Moss Giants for prayer flicking and using strength pots. Like nothing really goes over like 60K an hour if you're playing efficient, really, except
Yeah.
for fishing, of course, or woodcutting. Like
Yeah, woodcutting's
those
fast.
like wood cutting and fishing and then fire making and cooking like those are what I like calling the easy 99s because like you can literally do all four of them in under like 1,000 hours. So
Yeah.
usually like when me me and my friends are like talking to each other in free to play, we're like, oh yeah, he got all the easy 99s done. He got, so like that's just what we call them because they're so fast compared to like crafting or smithing. Like smithing is like 20K an hour, crafting is like 17K an hour. Then there's
Jeez.
combats. Combats are like, they're kind of like the middle ground. They're like in between slow and fast, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's Jesus Christ, dude. Those rates are just so painful to hear.
And then
But
there's
they,
the crafting that's like 4K an hour. So
yeah, I just always, you've heard of Kepi 42, right? That
yeah.
that guy who was doing Intrana crafting. For those listening, he did Intrana crafting on his UIM. He was rank 1 crafting Ironman, and he was a UIM for years. He was rank 1 crafting, and then he just fucking burned out, I guess, or just moved on, or died.
Is,
Who knows?
isn't he herbivore? Are those the same people, or am I mistaken? Herbivore is like, he's another UIM. I'm not entirely sure.
I would be very surprised if they're the same person. It's like a different account, like a name, Herbivore. So that's, or what do you mean?
Uh, got his RSN exactly. He's a
All
UIM. It's like pretty. Oh, here he is. Um, Gosh, why is the RuneScape website so slow?
I doubt it's him because I don't know why he would have made another account.
Yeah, maybe I'm just mistaken, but
I mean, who knows? Maybe you're right. I don't know much about the lore of Kepi 42. All I know is he was rank 1 agility Ironman, and then he was going for rank 1 crafting, and he was getting like pretty sure less than 20k XP an hour, and he got to like 138 mil crafting, which is just disgusting.
yeah, he absolutely insane. A lot of people were like really inspired by him, like
Yeah, no,
especially in
I
the free
was.
play community. Yeah,
I was incredibly inspired, and that was back when I was like initially a hardcore, and I was actually wanting to go for 200 mil crafting initially. Who knows how long I would have actually lasted, but I was I was gonna be rank 1 crafting. I was gonna be first to 99 pretty easily before I got banned, and then yeah, that kind of just didn't really want to go for 200 mil after that, obviously, but. Yeah, no, he was definitely like a motivation for me because I was like, damn, like that would be really cool to kind of compete with this guy because he's going way slower. I had way better XP rates. I could potentially have caught up to him, and it would have just been like me grinding it, kind of like AFKing it while doing school at the time. But yeah, I miss that dude. I miss it when gamer, like imagine like min level Skilla or somebody just fell off the face of the earth. Shit, that was loud as hell. Just kind of like you never saw him again randomly. That's how it felt with Kepi. He just randomly just stopped playing. I was like, damn, this is
jeez,
sad.
we on like mid level Skilla once told me, he's like, "Yo, if I ever stop playing the game for like more than 2 weeks, just assume that I died." That's what he said.
Oh my god.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of it because I sent it to some other people. I was like, "Oh, dude, this is hilarious."
So is he just like completely anti burnout? There's always there's like always those people. There's a few people in the game, very very few that are just completely anti burnout. Like they
Yeah, it's
can't
like
burn out.
he can't burn out, and there's no end too. So it's like,
That's like Hey
geez.
Jace in my eyes. Hey
Oh
Jace
yeah,
is
hey,
like
hey,
that.
Jace is going for the collection log stuff
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
that's like imagine getting 200 mil all and then like continuing like harder than ever.
He honestly, he should have just went for the collection log first because
Yep. Nope. That's
XP
what
is
I've
XP is zero
always
time at that point.
I've always said that is like, you know, the end game, like realistically, end game is completionist because even people that go for 200 mil all eventually start going for completionist. You might as well just go macro the whole way and just do everything at once. But
Then
people
after
love the
collection
ranks.
after collection log, it's like the 32-bit max integer for each boss, so like 2.147 bill of each
Yeah, you have to collect every item. You have to get 2.147 bill
of
of
each
every
boss.
single item too.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
every
about two.
third age, you have to max out the collection log. You can't
And
just get
have
one of everything. You have to get max of everything.
and also reach the max 32-bit integer value of RuneScape accounts made. Yeah. So you completely break Jagex's
Every
and
game mode,
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, each game mode, of
Yeah.
course.
That's key. Yeah, there really is no end to this game. It would be. I really like that the collection log's a thing. I really hope they come out with. I mean, I know the high scores are fucked, but like the loading times and stuff. But I think a collection log high score would be really cool.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be pretty sick, and it would be cool to like um, flex on people in free to play
What
because I'm
is the
pretty.
free to play collection logging? How many slots even are there? Like 10?
Um, there's actually a good amount. There's like the beginner clues, then there's like keys,
Oh, and
then
there's
there's the
Castle Wars.
bosses. There's random events too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Castle Wars. But I've actually been working on getting multiple random event items. So like I have like 11 later hosen hats or whatever they're
Oh
called.
damn.
And the only way to get those is by dropping them before you get the random event, and they disappear. They disappear if you go into the bank. So like you have to basically get a random event and have the items in your inventory.
Oh shit.
So
Okay. So that's the only thing that you've had multiple of. You not like every outfit piece, just the hats.
no, I've been collecting all the outfit
Oh
pieces.
wow. So
I got
you
like
just do you always hold on to them or what? Like how do you?
I I keep track of my random events, and then I like because like the way random events work is like on average it's like 1.5 hours after your previous random event if you never hopped. So like I'd sort of guess, and then if I was lucky, I'd get some extra. So I have like
Crazy.
around 5 of each, and then there's some I have like 10 or like 7 or a lot.
I love that you can be asked to do menial things like that, but you can't. Like you hate questing. Just like you could totally be asked to like go kill 3,000 Obor, but as soon as it comes to like a daily or like a quest, it's like no, fuck that.
But
It's funny how we work like that because people say the same thing. Like people hate clue scrolls because they just take time, but then they'll grind out a 200 mil. It's like
yeah.
it's funny how
Also,
we
part of
work.
part of the reason I never really went pay to play because there's so much to learn. Like
There's
it's like
so much.
I'm too lazy to learn it, and then I'm just like banging out 99s and free play. But it's but yeah, collection log would be sick. I'm actually really close to 2 collection logs completed because I have 2 baguettes, steel baguettes, which is like it's like 8K hours on average per baguette. So like I got pretty lucky. So like uh,
Yeah, damn.
I'm trying to get my third. I really hope to get a third soon. I actually got a quiz master like 5 minutes ago, and I got 500 GP. I was hoping for a baguette.
I
So
got I got a baguette like literally like 3 days before I maxed. It's really cool. It's happy.
nice.
Okay. Dawson Wright asks, how do you think Jagex should handle skill devaluation and power creep in free to play? How do you stay motivated as metas improve?
Um, Obviously, like high effort, high reward, and there's also like it's not only like I'll say this, it's not only updates to the game that change XP rates. There's always discoveries that just make things faster. So devaluation is nothing new,
Yep.
really. So as long as it's not like, oh, it's 95% efficient or whatever, 0.95 to 1 or whatever, and it's like completely AFK, like zero point 0.9 HP an hour AFKing,
Yeah.
like with a new update that comes out. Like I feel like those are really harmful. If like a new update came out, it's like high effort for like more XP. Like honestly, I'd prefer for that not to be in the game, honestly, but because who knows what Jagex will miss? Who knows how Jagex will mess up? But um,
They did a really good job with Temperos.
yeah, they did a
Just like
pretty good job.
so well done when I think about it. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the content because I just have no
It's
motivation
like
to do it.
it's
No,
like Winter Fisher Todd or whatever.
it's better though because Winter Todd completely overtook the skill. Like, there's no reason to even fire make on.
That's true.
But with Temperos, it's perfect. It's like it helps other fishing methods. Like, you get these little spirit flakes that help with fishing with other methods. You get like a new tackle box which helps, and like the fish barrel which helps, and it's just like cool perks that help with normal fishing, but then you can do that for other rewards, and nothing's too busted. People really seem to enjoy it. The looting mechanic is really neat and unique. You just did such a good job.
I'm really I'm really I think 2021 is going to be a good year because there's like so many RuneScape devs. It's insane. There's so many Jagex moderators. It's like how many are actually I have a spreadsheet to count them. But that was like a few weeks ago. Who knows how many more they have now?
Yeah, it's cool to see though. Like, they're even growing during like the pandemic and shit.
The public there's like oh my gosh, spreadsheet's huge. There's 60 J mods right now that are public. So like that are like listed at the bottom of the blog, like each blog post. So like who knows how many there actually is. So 60 of them plus they're actually like giving us like good balanced content and
Yeah,
being careful with stuff.
very
Like
careful, and they're
I
being
think
very balanced. Yeah.
I think 2021 is going to be a good year, honestly.
Yep, I'm really excited, and I don't know if you already read the ranged meta blog. I know pay to play stuff isn't your
I
full
kind of
cup of
skimmed
tea.
through it, honestly.
Yeah, it was. I regret even making a ramble on it because it was me reading the whole thing. I was like, Jesus, my mouth is just pasty dry now from reading all that. But yeah, I'm excited to see because they really do care. They really do care about long term health of the game. Do they get it right all the time? No, but like they still care. So
And also they're being more talkative to a lot of people. Like they're actually communicating with
yep,
us. They're communicating with a lot of people, and
I feel
it's
like we're
really good.
definitely heard. I feel like this is the best time. Like, the J mods are doing the very best they've ever done, and
And there's a lot of them too.
yep,
So
which is great. And we'll have to see what comes out. I know like you're not part of it, and I'm not either. But the people that are just keep talking about Raids 3 coming out, like, please Raids 3. That's all they care about. But for the most part, they're doing a great job.
true.
Okay. We basically have covered all topics. Do you have anything that you would like to add? Is anything that's been on your mind that you would like to say for the audience or anything?
No, not really.
Um, I guess I have a question to kind of wrap things up, but like, who are, I guess it's kind of like a question, like shout outs, like who motivates you on a daily basis, or like
Oh yeah.
who do you want to give a shout out to?
So everyone in the summit, literally everyone in there motivates me. Um, the people that motivated me to make my free to play accounts was Autumn Elegy, Mid Level Skilla, and Disciple. Disciple is a
Oh
beast,
yeah, now I've heard of him. He is a beast.
and um, everyone in the free to play community, literally everyone, no one, like no one excluded. Um, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Um, Tannerdino, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the cast. Time flies, doesn't it? It's been over 3 hours of us talking. It feels like it's been 20 minutes in my head. But
Uh, yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah, I really appreciate your time being on it. I know it's just nice getting information, just kind of like hearing the how free to play is, and having basically a veteran talking about it.
Mm.
Anyway, for those listening, hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm gonna have Tannerdino's Twitter, YouTube, and is there any other links you'd like to do or to like me to have in the description?
Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, Twitter and YouTube. Go follow them, guys. Uh, Also in the description is the Patreon if you would like to support the Sae Bae Cast directly and get deleted scenes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, come on, guys. Anyway, really appreciate your time, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for being on it, and be sure again, guys, to follow Tannerdino. Show him some love, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next week's episode. Not sure who it's gonna be yet, but have a few ideas in mind. But yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Peace.